Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of the Zulu 24 podcast. And as always, our podcast is sponsored by Anttech Airsoft Studios. He's good with guns, bad with table saws. Whether you're trying to just make your gun look nice and pretty or make it shoot to the moon and back, head on over to Anttech Airsoft Studios if you want to reach out to them online at AnttechAirsoftStudios.com. And also the snack bar. They serve hot food, cold food, red food, blue food, me food, and you food. And also Zulu Outdoor. It's an outdoor store, but it's indoors. So it's an indoor-outdoor store located right here on Zulu 24. If you want to reach out to them, you can give them a call at 845-684-3139. Whether you just need that last-minute item or you need to pick up an entire kit, they've got what you need. Head on over to ZuluOutdoor.com. And also Blue Mag Airsoft. You won't be blue when you shoot their BBs. They've got high-quality BBs, and they're trying to get them manufactured right here in the United States. For more information on that, head on over to BlueMagAirsoft.com. Also, don't forget, you can listen or watch this podcast on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Amazon, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify with video, and Google. Remember, always like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Go ahead and push those videos out there. Give it to your grandmother for next birthday. I'm sure she'll love it. What's going on, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Part 2 series of the AMS Breakdown at Arsenal with Rich Campbell and Anthony and Jordan. Let's dive right in. Another topic. But yeah. I think you're right. I think I thought about that rule before going, and I was like, oh, that could pose a problem, right? Because it's a big AO, whatever. Yeah. But it actually didn't really come up, man. I never got to a point where I was like, fuck, I need to go back and get ammo.
Oh, go get ammo? Yeah, nothing like that.
And in fact, those really longer engagements where eventually somebody had to start moving up within BB war range.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that you had going for you is that they are going to run out of ammo eventually.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to run out of grenades eventually.
Yeah.
So it knowing that allowed you to be a little bit more patient in going in to do shit.
Yeah, I will say a positive about that. That is the happy medium with people that are coming to, like Milsim West issued ammo, which is a fantastic idea, but some people want to use their own BBs or whatever, it's that type of thing. Whereas that there is a limitation on the ammo, but just on you at one time. You were able to have 7 magazines loaded. But it didn't matter what magazine. So, if you have an M4, you might as well get EPM ones, and you'll have...
That's what a lot of players do.
And you'll have 1,500 plus rounds, right? I was using the Tokyo Marui MP5, and they were 72 rounders. So, I had to, make sure not to, count my shots, because that's not a lot of ammo. But, they have the rule with the grenades. Personally, I'd rather you carry as many grenades you want. But
did they have a limit on how many grenades you could carry?
Yes.
What was the number?
6.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a lot of grenades to carry, to be honest with you.
It's just a lot of grenades.
Yeah, but I mean, for context, in our fanny packs, we can fit 15 frags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can fit
mine, and I know one of his you can. Yeah. I have the big USGI Molly 2 waist pack, the one I had on my hip, and you're like, that looks like a bad idea. I can fit 15 30.
Yeah, the Claymore bags and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. You're talking about the Alice Gear bags. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Grenades, yeah.
But the limit, what I'm saying is it's a happy median with what Anthony's saying as far as oh, you know what? My gun shoots really well with, a certain brand of BB. It just works. Fantastic. And it does limit you from not being, I can just keep loading here and bring 4 bottles of BBs and sit in this one position. Just keep loading till Kingdom Comes. So there is that. And if there was buddy aid, the level of gameplay would be awesome. I don't think, and like I said, what buildings were in play or whatever, those little nitpicks would die down real quick, because you'd just be like, hey man, just go out there and go run around. But now that you're well, now you got the one game mechanic that kind of sucks. I got to go walk back. Well, now I'm going to complain about other things that are not enough buildings.
I attribute I'll say 98% of the fuckery that we saw. I contribute 98% of that to the AO, most of it not being conducive to airsoft, which made players walk and whatever. Yep. And then and I'll say the not having buddy aid.
Yep.
Because it created an atmosphere of frustration because you were frustrated because you just had to assault through 100 yards of open ground. You got murdered. And now your buddy who's just behind you can't come up and get you because the medic died up here with you.
Yeah.
So now, so now you're just sitting there going, where's the nearest aid station? Well, if I go to an aid station, I can only take one, or I literally can just take my dead rag off.
Yeah.
So I'm good for one life, or we have to walk all the way back.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
The aid station thing that depended on how many bandages you had on already, because that was the thing. Like if we only had one bandage on and we went back to the aid station, you could take that bandage off.
Yeah.
No,
but if you had two bandages on and you went back to the aid station, you couldn't take any off.
But you can only do it after a death. And
it's only
you
after
weren't
death.
at the safety brief I was in.
Yeah.
There was, so this same question was answered 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, this guy raises his hand. And then Bo's charismatic, like, yeah, what's up, man? Right? And the guy asked the same fucking question.
So it's very confusing to people then.
Yeah.
Like
I think they need to make a flow chart.
Maybe
Get
that.
hit. Do you have a bandage on it? Yes or no? How many? 1 or 2? Right? What can you do?
Yeah.
And I think people need that type of
Well, I think
flow chart
the real solution, right? If they're asking 3 questions about the same thing, it's too complicated.
Yeah.
It's too complicated.
It's too complicated when you're having an airsoft battle. It's just easier. I got to go heal Dave.
With 1,100 people.
Maybe at that
also
point.
the outcome that they were trying to prevent by making such a complicated rule, again, the ammo restriction ironed itself out because it's not like people within one whole life leaving the fob, right? Like after one death, it's not like people. I didn't see people going aid station to aid station. They were so far from one another.
Yeah.
And the odds of you getting to that next point, like that next like little mission of getting to that point before you run out of ammo, or before whatever, it was so slim,
So maybe to streamline the aid station rule set, because it is a little confusing. Because like the 1 bandage on, you could take it off. 2 bandages on, don't take any of them off. Either A, you go to an aid station when you're dead. No matter what bandages you have on, you could take 1 off.
That's kind of what I thought it was, but then when he explained it, I was like, oh wait.
Or
if you have 1 bandage, you can take that 1 off. If you have 2,
but does your dead rag? But does your dead rag count as a bandage?
No. So these are the tiers.
Staff told us that that was the case.
These are the tiers.
Dead rag meant
that's 1 death.
Well, this is what Bo said in the safety brief. If you go there, so if you have 1 ace bandage, you take 1 off. If you have 2, as in like that, those are your 2, right? Like
you're on your last
before going to the aid station, you got down, you got medic, then you could take 1 off. But then if you
had 2 on and you died again, and now you have your dead rag on.
Yeah.
When you walk back to the aid station, the only thing you could do is take your dead rag off. You have to leave both bandages on. So I think streamlined process, either A, every time when you go to the aid station, you could just take 1 off. Or B, if you walk to the aid station and you're dead, you are now alive, but bandages stay on. Doesn't matter if you have 1 or 2.
Yeah, I thought I understood it until like explaining.
Yeah,
and now
that's
so confusing.
Again.
That's kind of what Hoffman and I just started doing because there was a staff guy that's like, no, it's your dead rag. So your dead rag counts as like a bandage, right? Because that's a life, right?
Yeah.
So every time I went to an aid station, regardless of what I had on, I just took my dead rag off.
Yeah.
Right, and now I'm back in the game.
Yeah, see,
because we weren't even getting healed because there was no medics.
There's no medics, dude.
It was just walk back to respawn. That.
I was kind of on that, except for like then I'd be leaving the aid station and like the random staff member or player staff member would be like, hey, yo, you should take that bandage off. You're at the aid station. I'm like, is that how this works? Because like every single person is saying something different.
Yeah, it was, which is just proof in the pudding that it's a good idea. I understand why they're doing it, right? To keep you in the fight longer. That way you don't have to make that mile-long walk. But yeah, if the rule is just too confusing, I still don't know exactly what it is today.
and you're a field owner. You played airsoft a long time. I was too, and I was like, "What?" Like
that might be one of those rules that if it was written out, it would be easier to see. Kind of like what
Like
Anthony was saying.
Nobody reads.
I know, but they send out so many emails leading up to the game.
They do
explain the aid
that
station.
is, you know what I will say. That's a positive as well too. I knew exactly what was going on at all times.
Yeah,
I got
the text messages when you got there.
Yeah,
and it gave you the timeline. That was
I got
great.
15 emails, and it would only be from my laziness to not know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like if you read the emails, dude, you knew everything was going on.
Now, speaking of the water and the aid stations and the medic rules and the buildings being in play or out of play, everyone here was at the game. hot topic idea. If they had just taken basically the entire way they laid out the map for the AO and rotated it 90 degrees. So now the green team fob, and we can put this on screen. The green team fob would be over by the prison. The tan team fob would be over past the shanty town by the water tower, making it so tan team's a little bit closer to the buildings that are more conducive to airsoft, and green team, yes, they're a little bit further away, but now they have more of an opportunity to get to those buildings on equal ground and fight against each other. Do you think that would have changed the way the game flowed?
I'll give you one better. One team on the north, one team on the south. So you could either go the west side where it's more open ground, but if you go from building to building, you may not get so much like people, because they're going to all want to go to the east. The east end is where like all the building, a lot of airsoft distances stuff. And you could go west and then cut through the middle and like do some kind of flank maneuver. That's what I would have done.
Because AMS also has in their rule set the whole, I think it's 500 feet. If you're within 500 feet of the other team's fob, you're not allowed to shoot at them. So,
okay,
because that's like a war crime. Like if you get caught within a certain distance of the other team's fob.
Well, they could have kept the fobs right where they were and just moved the capture points.
Well,
that's true.
That
too.
Do you know? I disagree with that, and I agree with Jordan.
Well,
if you look at the layout of the map and where the firefights happen, everybody is a righty. And just like in CQB, when you see when we do CQB games at the field and you see what route people take, that same thing happened in the whole map. So if you look at it, right, pretty much the whole map is going to go counterclockwise until they hit a stop with troops. So if we spawned at prison and we went counterclockwise, where originally we had the fight happening in this area where we couldn't enter the buildings, instead we would actually have the fight happening by the hospital, embassy, and these other like that little neighborhood area. And then same with tan. So if they were instead in that corner, but were rather in this corner, right? Instead of them coming around and going righty and meeting us at the flooded pond or the flooded neighborhood area where most of that fighting happened, they would have gone the other way, and then, or rather, rather they would have met us more at like the Connex yard, the train derailment, and the trailer park. And
I think that's where we met anyway. But I think for a better airsoft experience, it's a lot more fun to shoot at people within the range of your gun.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that Rich is right on that. The whole east, we'll call it the Eastern Crescent, right?
Yeah.
Because it goes all the way up from the south, all the way to the shantytown.
Yeah.
That whole Eastern Crescent.
All those buildings were at play except the embassy.
Exactly. Right. And you can have the school, and you can still have that area open, but like your capture points, maybe there's a capture point in the roof of the school.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a capture point at the roof of the hospital, right? But all the other capture points are on that Eastern Crescent, where the guys that are just there to play in buildings and whatever, they can hit that Eastern Crescent regardless of if they're right-handed or left-handed, and then for dudes who like want, hey, let's go hit like the big boy, the hospital. It's a capture point. Let's go freaking hit it. It's there too. We know tactically, to get over there, there's going to be some open ground, but it's a choice that we make. Whereas the way the game was laid out this time, there wasn't really a choice. It was go where the firefight is, and just because of many factors, the firefights were always in the same spot
at the school.
At the school.
Back end of the school and the hotel, the back end of the high school of the school, and then the hotel, which the hotel, though it looked cool, was not in play either.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then everything in between was open ground.
Yeah.
And those firefights happened in those like golden spots, those hot spots where both teams will send most people counterclockwise until they meet the minority of lefties that actually go clockwise.
I just think north and south, man, and then you'd put maybe a couple of capture points in that open in the west end where there was no, like where the school is and everything else, where where the train derailment is, like cool areas, and then there's that Connex container. Put some ones there where people might not go, but you know what? Hey, man, we want to win the game or whatever. However you play. Be like, all right, let's go capture those points. We'll just go over there. We probably won't get into any action, but we'll at least put the flag up. That's it, done. And then we'll go back east, and because that whole east area, that whole crescent is like insane.
It's really playable.
Yeah, it's really because we
playable.
did go play on Sunday, so we did not do the Saturday night game. We were totally burnt out from Saturday day, and we were definitely not hardcore enough. We definitely were not. We didn't.
Yeah. So before we get into the night game, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And we're back from our break. We went out and had some dinner, so we're all a bit sluggish now, but I feel 10 times better. Last thing we were talking about was the AMS night game, or night portion, I'll say, because they didn't stop it. It just ran into the night portion. We did not stay for that.
No, we did not. We were burnt out.
Yeah, we were
A little sun poisoning.
At
least I was.
I think if I looked on my watch, we did 15 or 16 miles.
Yeah, we did a lot.
It was pretty wild. But Anthony, you did stay.
Yes, I did. It was me, Tyler, and little Dave, and we so we had brought everything back from the fob. We're like, we're not bringing. No, sorry, everything was still at the fob. So part of our night game adventure included having Ryan bring the van around through the other road, so that we can bring everything, including the fucking assault ladder.
Yes, you brought an assault ladder.
Yeah.
That you did not use.
That has nothing to do with the night game. I would like to talk about the assault ladder.
Okay.
So yeah, we did the night game. We were looking for things to do. We walked around the AO in the open areas with night vision on. Did not really find much tan. We found a lot of green holed up in the hospital. And then across from the hospital was the embassy. And then there was this missile looking thing, or this mortar looking thing. And they had some leadership, admin guy who's giving us this mission. And the mission was basically to stay in the walls of embassy for the inevitable tan attack, because we have a bunch of green in the hospital right over there, but they're hiding. They're going to wait for tan to come in here and kill us so that they can all come out left and right and then overwhelm tan. And I was like, so we're supposed to just stay here and die? Because the way he originally explained it suggested that. I was like, no. I mean, you can do whatever you want. And I was like, but we could do whatever we want, but we have to stay within this. And he was like, no. But you can also. So he kept giving us an extra inch after I would question what he wanted us to do, to the point where we just walked around aimlessly.
Oh God.
And so we were basically just going from building to building. We're in that area where there's these buildings that you can't access, the main middle area. And we are looking at that one aid station that's by the motel that we were fighting over for the first portion of the day.
Yep. Between the hotel and the school.
So it's me, Tyler, and little Dave, like the Three Stooges, just looking around the corner. We see guys far out. We don't know if they're green or tan. Just night vision, and we have to get close with the white lights to really identify that. Nobody's watching rear. And all of a sudden, somebody comes from behind us. Knife kill, gets behind Ryan, uses him as a shield, and fucking shoots me with the pistol. And then we were just and this guy was he had no night vision, right?
You guys got.
He had
wow.
Now this might count for the bingo card. It wasn't a katana or axe, but he had this fucking karambit, this big curved rubber knife thing, and
kukri,
something. I don't know.
Oh
and
my God!
After he gets us, he's just he's like, you have to bleed out. You have to bleed out, and you have to go right back to your fob. Out of breath, just yeah, you have to. And me telling that portion of how this guy said that is going to be the beginning of me unraveling one of the gripes I had with a lot of the player base at this event, which was this very weird harping over the more mundane rules in the game. So while there was no hit calling issues that I heard at all, it was actually spectacular. And I didn't hear anybody complain about anybody shooting hot. I didn't hear anybody go, yeah, bro, really, bro? Not unironically, you know what I mean? So great on that front. But when it came to the other rules, like the medic rules, that bleed out thing, people got very uptight, clenched up, sticking their ass about it for some reason. And that was the start of it. And then he left, right? Tyler was the one that had to actually go back to the fob.
So wait. Okay. So how come... Why was it different for each of you? Why was he you have to bleed out, you have to bleed out, and you have to go back?
I don't know. It looked like he got like Tyler and little Dave with the knife. And while this is all happening, my gun is down. I'm totally off guard. I'm like trying to get my gun up and hip fire him, but like he's using. No, Ryan was with us. Yeah, it was all four of us. He's using Ryan as a shield. It was some weird thing. Little Dave got separated from us at this point. He wasn't on the field yet. That's right. That's why there's three of us. And Ryan's big, right? So he's like using Ryan as a shield.
Yeah, but how come is a knife kill more devastating?
Yeah, so actually in the rules, if you get knife killed, you have to go back to your fob.
Right.
What?
But like
it's more devastating.
But he got 2 knife kills, and for some reason, like only Tyler had to go. And it was weird. He walked away, and we were just like, all right, we're just gonna stick together because we didn't want.
Yeah.
Tyler went back to the fob, then it would. So straight up, like we did all just bleed out, right? And
okay,
we didn't go back to an aid station though.
Here's my other question: was he friendly? Because that'd be great.
No, he was tan.
Oh, he was tan.
He was tan. Like, but he's the only tan we found, and he snuck up on us like an actual ninja.
No, he found you.
Right. I was so.
Dude, that's the highlight of that man's whole airsoft career. He should just quit now.
Yeah. I was so happy for him. I was like, it sucked to get knife killed, right? But I was like happy for him.
No night vision, correct?
He earned that. No night vision.
He is on a podcast right now telling the story like these freaking doofers with their Honda Civics on their heads.
And I was like, cool. But the whole call out bleed out thing was like very like, I'm going to tell the teacher if you don't type of thing. And that was kind of silly. And he had left, right? And as we're sitting there bleeding out, he like comes back and starts talking to us, like apologizing that he knife killed us. And I was like, oh no, you like played airsoft and it worked out. I was like, what? Yeah. Like, you're good, dude. Right. And then he just kept like sitting there apologizing about it. And I straight up, I got so tired of hearing him talk. I just yelled medic, and then he ran off. And as he ran off, he did this like evil villain thing, like I'll get you again. You know, like as he's running off.
Oh God!
So until we meet again.
I'll see you later.
I'm surprised it wasn't coupled with like maniacal, like evil laughter.
That was the only tan guy. So this battle that was going to happen.
That wasn't the only one. But so we eventually. All right, we're back in. And there's like such little time in the night portion. And we didn't really know what to do. There was some stuff happening in the middle school. All the lights were on. And I was like, I don't want to go in there with all the lights on. Like, it's just during the day. Like, it's like playing during the day. I want to. So we're looking around. We're by the motel again. There's some contact. We're like behind the motel. In the back is the area that didn't have the walkway or the stairs. And then there's some movement on the other side. Little Dave starts looking left with Tyler. Little Dave has the better night vision out of all of us because he saw these guys. He's like, oh yeah, that's totally tan. So we're like still being quiet. They don't know we're there. So then me, Ryan, and Tyler go right side. And then we go to pinch in. And that was like the only real firefight we got into at night. And it was kind of cool because it was like in front of a motel and there was cars and I had my laser on and we did our thing. And it seemed as though there was only those 2 guys there. We got them out and it was fine, right? Ryan got shot right before we peeled out from that corner of the building. I didn't realize this. I realized this after this happened. The guy that little Dave had shot, like we both came in like an X, right? So I shot this guy behind a car right there, and then little Dave got this guy over here behind the cinder block barrier. The guy's like, "Oh man, right? We were going over there to support you, you know." And I was like, "Are you green?" And he was like, not answering my question, and he's like bullshitting it, almost as if he's green, like he's saying things that he would say if he was green. And I go over him and white light him. I'm like, I'm fucking colorblind and it's dark. So I'm like, are you green? And then I get shot in the back. So he was pretending to be green and dead and in need of assistance while his buddy came around back and shot us. And that thing like fucking killed that moment for me. And like, that was our nighttime firefight. And it sucks because we were wandering around this big AO to find something to do. And I just don't feel like continuing the main objective at night was as fun as it probably would have been if instead they let people regroup because they're going to go to the cars anyway. And all the people without night vision, for the most part, are going to dip out anyway. Do another quick little brief, like a little mission, emergency mission. This is new intel, right? Try to make it immersive. And then let the teams kind of go and do something in one part in one particular part of the field, but
Oh, they could have.
that, like, to me, I feel like that would have fixed the night game. Because again, like I've said before, this was not the hardcore Milsim event. The night game ended at 11:30. I want to do the night game until the sun comes up. You know,
Yeah.
that's when you get, you know,
I mean, geez, the sun only went down at like 10.
Yeah, it was so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you what I was doing. I was taking a shower and
Yeah.
I was drinking a Modelo. Like,
yeah, dude, like it
that would
was.
have been cool. They could have just done like just both
Yeah,
teams been like
at the
hey,
hospital.
Hey, the hospital's fucking hot.
Yeah,
go
That's it.
go nuts right there. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
we're spawning right
And
here.
honestly, if they did that, they'd probably have a whole bunch more fun than a
They
whole
did
game.
attempt to give that little mission to create a firefight, and they did
Yeah.
that with that thing going on in the embassy.
Yeah.
But that fell apart. Like as we're walking back after being knife killed and shit, you know,
Dude, that is
we were not
that's
gone.
sad.
We were not gone long. We must have been gone for like 15 minutes. Everybody in that area was just gone. There was no firefight. So what I'm thinking happened was that Tan never showed up. And
Sure.
everybody that was posted up waiting didn't come. And Tan probably didn't show up because they saw all the green hanging on the balcony of the hospital. They see like 30 dudes. They're like, I'm not going there. And also on the way back, I got back alley LASIK because there was like friendlies aiming lasers in my eye, you know, as we're
Not
walking
good.
back dead.
I've said
Did
it
you have a
before.
deadline?
I actually yelled at him. I was like, stop shining your fucking laser in my eye. Cause like he wouldn't stop.
Well,
Like-
once you said that, he's like, "Oh, we'll keep doing it."
No, he stopped, but I just like,
But did you have a dead light on?
I did.
Yeah, then he's wrong.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're still using lasers in Airsoft, you're 5 years behind. Like
Yeah,
there's
you got passive aim
too many people are
using it.
have fucking night vision. But so that was the night game. Cool.
So, and then I did take some notes on the night game.
Let's do it.
Actually, that was it. That was my only thing. I feel like it was very limited in time, and it could have been just more like.
It sounds like the night game. I
there
mean,
should-
really, in
should
all
be a
honesty,
regrouping. You know,
you could only play from 10 to 11 anyway. To use your
11:30.
11:30. Okay, an hour and a half if of dark.
I know.
Sunday
And
darkness.
so then at the end, we just walked around the prison and took pictures. And
Yeah,
saw-
but I guess
saw
I mean
ghosts.
we've been saying this kind of the whole time, the AMS brand, right? And how some things fit, some things don't. I think playing till 11:30 kind of fits the brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like we've said a couple times, like especially with the dragging aspect. That's not really AMS's brand. They're not
No.
that hardcore. So only going to 11:30. That's probably
Oh yeah, definitely.
that's
100%.
probably on par. It just kind of worked out the time of year and also the fact
Yeah.
that we were in the westernmost section of the Eastern time zone. So the time didn't change, but the sun, I mean,
Yeah.
if we'd have gone 40 miles to the west, we'd have been in the was it central?
Yeah.
And you would have had an extra hour of nighttime. But I don't know. I also kind of saw that coming, man. It was crazy hot, crazy huge, walking everywhere. By the time sun goes down, dude, everybody's just like,
I was good. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm pretty
Well, it's
good.
also the time of the year because, like, had they done this game at M.U.T.C. in, let's say, September or
Yeah.
October, it would be dark by 6:45, 7 o'clock.
sure.
And then dudes like us with night vision would be like, absolutely, yes, I get 4 hours with
But
my nods.
It's
in the
not even
chair.
that. You have the energy to do it.
Yeah, because it's not so hot.
I would have also paced myself and been like, all right, let's not go so hard during the day because nighttime is going to be
yeah.
optimal.
I don't know. I paced myself all the way through Saturday and I was like, it's still hot as balls.
Oh yeah. So draining all the water and everything like that.
Yeah.
But so all right, so
So that was my
that's your
nighttime
night.
experience. And I think also, I feel like logistically too, because there's way less players on the field at night, it would have been really nice if we were able to bring our own vehicles to the fob without having to leave the site, you know, and come around the back road.
Okay.
That would have been nice, you know, because like it's just a lot of fucking walking, dude. Like we got, so I brought this assault ladder. We had acquired an assault ladder, and I was really hoping because there's a bunch of urban stuff.
And that was a legit one. That
It
was
was
not like no,
legit.
yeah.
There's pictures of me wearing it, and like it's collapsible. It has an Alice frame on it.
How tall can it go?
Like 16, I think. It's a 16 footer.
16 feet. Damn.
Like,
think
so,
it was.
like I'm pretty sure I could have gotten on the balcony of the middle school with it.
Wow.
That height, yeah.
I have the same one in my shed right now, just the contractor version of it. It's
Yeah.
16 feet, and it collapses
Shit.
down to that little.
I wanted to use it so bad.
I know you did.
But most of the buildings like that we were around couldn't enter, and then a lot of the ones that we could, there was either chicken wire on the windows or the windows were closed.
Or the windows are like where they open like that.
Yeah, and
open.
I feel like I kept hearing that balconies weren't in play, but I feel like every balcony
rooftops.
that I saw
They
was in
said,
play.
excuse me, they said rooftops.
Yeah, so that was every there were rules that were not being reiterated the same exact way by every member of staff. So it kind of created some confusion.
Yep.
Like there was like a game of telephone with certain rules. So it's like I read the rules, you know, and I listened to the safety brief, but then mid-game I saw some people doing things that, based on my recollection of the safety brief, was not okay, but some admins were letting it slide. And
So it's too confusing. That's this is what we just said about the medic rule right off the bat. Like it's, you know, we're looking at something right now. Some guys asking about Copperhead on Facebook.
well, I think if Bo was walking around, if Bo cloned himself and there was 15 of him or 20 of him running around the whole AO, you'd hear the same exact thing.
Oh yeah.
And he'd be on point, you know. But I think that some of the staff are like not working there all the time.
Okay.
We're Zulu staff. We fucking know the safety brief by heart,
Yeah.
like the video, and we hear it in our head when we don't want to in our sleep.
Well, to be fair, too, Zulu's the same every weekend.
Yeah.
AMS is moving to different AOs. Now, a lot of the rules were specific to M.U.T.C, so that's where like it could get kind of wonky. I'm not trying to make excuses. I want to make sure that everybody's represented fairly. But then Sunday rolls around.
Oh man, Sunday.
Sunday.
Well, first
Alright.
they pushed the
I didn't see you guys
time
at
start
all on
back
Sunday.
Oh, they pushed the time
back
on
by
Sunday.
an hour.
Yes.
Because of the like torrential rainstorm we got Sunday
The
morning.
Tornado.
You
Yeah,
guys
the
had your
tornado.
own campaign on Sunday that I wasn't a part
Oh
of.
yeah, it was supposed to go from
It was weird.
Yeah.
10 to 2, and then they pushed back to 11, so it was 11 to 3.
Yeah.
Another weird like miscommunication amongst people. Like at one point we had walked up to a staff member and we're like, hey, the text only said like they're starting late. Does that mean we're going till 3 o'clock? And he's like, it could be 2:30, could be 3.
Yeah,
could be
he actually, no, his
3:15.
first response was, "I'll have to get back to you on that." Well, dude,
Well-
we're like moving somewhere else right now. Like,
Yeah.
Not only that, but by that time of the event, that was like the 5th time we had heard a staff member say that and had nothing happen.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one.
Because it's like 1:45.
Yeah.
Not to push too far ahead, but like that was 1:45, and we're like, hey, if the game ends at 2 o'clock, there's no point to us going back to the fob.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it 3? Is it like, what time are you guys ending? And he goes, it could be 2:30, could be 3, could be 3:15. Man, I don't know right now. I'm like,
Yeah. So, what do we do in the morning on Sunday? I can't remember where
we got to
went.
I think we've got to the school area, and then we pushed past that to the green
that's
time
Yep. That's
pushed, and then we went like they started almost like getting spawn camped or whatever in their fob or whatever. But like we went around that metal container part. I forget where that was.
yeah.
though.
So we pushed from the school because that was where we got to blow a bunch of frags in there. Also,
Yeah.
sorry, I still team killed you.
Yeah.
right. That's right.
And then we pushed further west because we were going to try and go to the power station.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were making a concerted effort to see everything.
Yeah.
that the
Yeah,
field
yes,
had.
yes, yes. So
So
we
we're-
went to the power station. We battled a little bit. Then Ryan threw a grenade and threw it so bad and killed Connor.
Was
Well, that was Saturday.
Sunday?
That was Saturday.
Yeah, that was Saturday.
No, no, that was Sunday.
No, that was Saturday.
Was that Saturday? Wow,
Yeah,
it's
that
one
like I
blur.
said, I
That
did
was
not
Saturday,
see
like
you
one.
guys at all on Sunday.
Oh, okay. So then
we
that
did
was
not
that was
undertake.
Saturday. Then that happened.
So supposedly, according to Anttech, we were on the opposite side of the same building at one point, but like never acknowledged.
Oh, so that end of Saturday before we left, that's when we battled over there. And then it continued the same way because we had conquered so much of the field.
Yeah, because we originally Sunday morning went from the fob
Yeah.
north to the water tower
Yes, because
because we wanted to see if the Porta Johns up there were okay.
that's
Oh, they
another
were-
issue. That's
Oh,
another
dude,
issue.
The Porta Johns that were close to the parking
Hold on,
lot.
we'll get into it.
We'll get
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
We'll get
But
into
from,
it.
From there, we went south past the church, went west
Oh, yeah.
because we were like, okay, we've seen everything over here. We saw the shantytown.
Yeah.
We want to go see the power station. And then on our way to the power station, we found all those dudes huddled up on the side of buildings. So we did like 2 flying Vs and died.
Yeah.
No, we did one perfect.
We did one really
Flying V.
perfect one.
flying V, and then the second one, you were behind the building, like, get the fuck out of here.
And as soon as I walked out of the building, I got shot.
Hey,
I
stayed there
Dave.
with
I
Ethan.
followed you every
Oh,
time you
man.
said flying V. I was right behind you. I was
Yeah.
right with you with a Tokamori MP5 shooting less than a joule. All
Yeah,
right.
literally,
So
Here's the thing. So I noticed very early in the event, right, because of the distances in between buildings,
Yeah.
whatever, everybody was really content on just staying behind the respective buildings and firing like these lobbing fucking shots at each other.
Yes.
So I just started walking out in the middle and walking to it because I knew that the range, like, it
Yeah.
was 50 feet before
Yeah.
a BB would even come close to you.
Yeah.
So I just started walking out and walking forward. And every time I did that, everybody else kind of followed. And then this thing happened, like
Yeah.
a wave happened, and everybody started going. So it's like, fuck it. I mean, I'm going to be the one that's dead every time, but I'm just going to start doing it. So that's why, like the flying V shit, it worked not so well for us, but it got everybody else moving. And actually, when we did that second one, our team came up and like took the flag and then like pushed on further. I mean,
Yeah.
it was yeah,
great.
dude.
It was fantastic. And like, dude,
I don't think any of us realized, though, that flag was already ours.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I didn't like.
but they were trying to count. They were trying to get it back again. There was,
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
was
Tam was
tailgates.
trying to. Because
But-
No, you go.
I was gonna say that like we were trying to do that, and then like we went alongside one of the buildings that you couldn't go into. It's all this is like no buildings you go into.
Yeah.
And what was odd is there's people's cars. There was like
Oh, man.
regular cars of like individuals and
Yeah.
of like, and not of the players, but of like people that like work on base or they're construction workers or whatever the deal is. And I was like, yo, there is like BBs hitting my vehicle. I don't think they understood. And the place said it was totally fine. Like, yeah, fight around the cars. Don't worry. No big deal. And you know, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
dude. I did not like. I was in a firefight where like there was a guy using somebody's car as cover, shooting at me, and I'm in this like little trench, and I was like not comfortable shooting back at him because I'm like I'm hitting this. Like I intentionally shot way over his head just to kind of suppress him, but I was like I'm not trying to hit somebody's car. Like
Well, I noticed a lot of the cars had government plates on them. So that might
Yeah,
have
so
been,
they might have been like whatever.
they're
Yeah.
like, who cares? Like,
We did. Oh, then we did that flying V. Went around the building. Jordan got killed by some dudes doing some lob shots. So you went around. I followed you. You got killed
yeah.
around the gate.
Oh, man.
yeah.
Some kind of situation happened with you.
Ugh. Yeah, well, it was just the Connex box thing. Is that what you're talking about? We were flanked around the Connex box?
That
aid
metal
station
fence,
was
and then
the
when you
soccer.
got
Oh, the metal fence. Yes.
Yeah, the metal fence
the
one.
most, Hoffman has a better perspective of it, but it was like the most airsoft thing ever. There were 3 guys hiding in this like pile of rubble. And one guy was visible and we shot him, and he did the thing that airsofters do where they just take a knee. They don't yell out their hit. They don't act out their death. They don't put on a dead ring.
Yeah.
And so we're just like, we're moving up on him, like, because we're not, you're going to have to bleep this, because we're not, we knew that guy was hit. And so we're moving up respectably to him. He's got 2 other buddies there. We kill them too. And then I believe what happened, because I was kind of covering a different angle. I believe what happened is some guy was in the prone and
Mhm.
was healing the first guy.
Who was just standing there like this.
It was just
Yeah.
like, "Wah," and then as soon as he got done, he just like pulled up and shot Connor, and then we all blasted him. And it was like the most airsofty thing ever. And I don't know.
I walked past that after because I realized where you guys went. I went, oh, you guys went around the fence. And I went around and I saw the aftermath. And a guy was like, hey, how's it going? How you doing? I was like, hey, what's up? I saw you guys dead. And then I was along, there was like all the tan
Yeah.
on the other side of this like triangle grass. They were on that side. I was on this. And then I saw him and I was about to shoot. And then they start shooting at me. And I like ducked down. I'm like, hey, man.
Oh God, dude, my cringe level went.
And I
through
went,
the
I'm just
roof.
trying to help you.
Oh my God. Basically, Rich did the same thing that the other guy did.
The other guy did. was
You're the worst kind of human being.
I'm like, yeah, we'll try. Dude, they were lighting me up. And I said, all they had to do is just keep firing. And then I was low. I was as low as I could get. And then I got a little bit closer, started firing. And then that's when they realized that, oh, that's not a friendly. And then they came over, shot me. And, but the guy that was right behind me, he put his red rag on, but he's standing up and the red rag is blocked by a bush and he gets shot by somebody.
Yeah.
He goes, don't you see that I'm wearing a red rag? I'm like, yo, dude, you don't look dead. You're just standing there. And he's like, oh, and then that guy walks by. Then what happened was how I was sitting there dead, and that tan player walked with a bunch of tan dead players and shot me up at like, and he was dead or not dead.
No, so he wasn't. I bullied him into telling him that he was dead because Tyler and I were dead at this moment, watching all of this happen. And we're sitting there with our dead rags on. And we just watched this dude walk with the dead players just go and like.
He was in like just for everybody listening.
It was like 8 players.
This dude was in a group full of dead players.
Red rags, everything.
He did not have a dead rag, but he was absolutely 1,000% using that group of dead players to move.
Yes.
Like
he starts giggling and laughing.
Oh yeah,
just
dude.
like, yeah,
and he kind of lit me up when I was down. I was like, oh man. So that, you know what? Remember the last podcast you guys asked me, when have I haven't been really overshot, and I think I finally am not on one hand. I think that's the because I looked and I said, "Are you dead, dude?" I didn't even get mad. I was like, "Are you dead, dude?" Like, and he said some kind of thing like, "Well, you know, you whatever something or whatever." He said some kind of slide remark, and I was like, "Okay." Well, it was towards the end of the day, so I was like, "Whatever."
Well, yeah.
Tyler and I watched that happen though, and we're like, we are not letting this go. Because we looked at that dude and we're like, do you realize what you just did? And he's like, what, man? I don't have a dead rag on. I'm like, can you just stop and look at your situation? I was like, all 6 or 7 of your friends are dead. They all have dead rags on.
Yeah.
You don't.
They're within 3 feet of him.
Yeah, like
it's
you
not
could
like
reach out and touch him.
Yeah. He's in this group using them as
He's as
cover
close
to
as we
run.
are, right? Sitting.
And
Yeah,
like,
100%.
And the guy's response is, well, if I don't have a dead rag out, you should just shoot me. I'm like,
he's not wrong.
and I'm like, all right, brother.
Not
So I'm going to not give you the custom courtesy next time of seeing this and going, oh, he might have just lost it.
It might have just fallen on the
It
ground
might have
behind
just fallen
him. Yeah,
back
dude.
15 feet back.
and he'd be like, "Why did you shoot me?"
Oh, yeah.
And he looks at me, man. He's like, well, I don't know why you have to be such a prissy pants about the rules. And I'm like, why do you have to be a scumbag?
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like,
First
in
got
this
the
moment, that dude was probably super nice to you and went, I could have shot this guy, but he doesn't have his dead rag on and all of his friends do. He probably lost his. So he like gives me lip, walks away. Tyler and I are like, all right, cool. So now anyone that doesn't have a dead rag on, even if they're standing next to someone with a
Getting
dead rag
blasted.
on, gets
Did
blasted.
he put a red rag on finally?
That was
like,
my rule from the get-go.
like 2 minutes
that's
later.
usually my rule. Anyway.
I was there to
2
fucking.
minutes later, we're coming.
I was
We're
there.
literally standing in the same spot, waiting for you guys to bleed out, and we're like talking to some kid because he goes, "Oh, you guys are from Zulu?" Because we all had Zulu dead rag.
Yeah.
Striking up a conversation. The guy comes back over. He's like, "I just want you to know, I pulled my dead rag out and called myself out for that." And I'm
Perfect.
like, "That's cool, dude. Go back to respawn."
You just shouldn't have been a scumbag.
There was a moment in the woods where somebody got shot, and I guess they got overshot, right? And he's like, can't you see my fucking dead rag? And somebody's like, no, I don't. He's like, oh yeah, sure. And I was sitting there, I was bleeding out. I was like, or maybe he actually didn't see it. And then the guy was like, yeah, you're right.
I'm going to tell you
I'm
right
sorry.
now.
I was like, cool.
I'm going to tell you right
Nice.
now. The red rag is very hard to see, but I was told not to tell you this, Jordan, but apparently tying them together, that's a good idea. Apparently, I wasn't supposed to give you credit for that one.
Oh, thank
Jordan has a Zulu dead rag
Yeah, you literally
sash
tie them
that
all
he
together,
wears.
and they're neon orange.
Yeah.
And you just
Telling
put them
you.
around you, and you literally look like a giant safety cone. It's perfect. The neon orange and neon yellow and all that is
Yeah.
great. Like what Jet uses at his games or whatever with the safety vest. That makes total sense. That's a great thing.
We made-
if you're gonna do a red rag type thing.
Yeah, we made the switch at Zulu many years ago. I was still living in my apartment actually, and it was like, industry standard is red.
Yeah.
Red's a piss poor color, and I know why it's red because everybody's like, oh, it's like blood. Oh,
Yeah.
red rag. But it's not communicating properly if you can't readily see it.
Yeah.
And so we switched to orange, man, and like a couple different things happened. A lot of people were like, oh, why are you going to orange? And then the other thing was that you could actually see dead people now. It was like a lot less dead players getting
I see
shot.
dead people.
Yeah.
But now, do you want to talk about like the one other thing that was not good about maybe a little bit of a definitely a con and a.
Well, we'll talk about the raffle.
Oh yes.
So end of the game comes around. I think everybody's kind of relieved at this point, and hey, gather up into the soccer field, and at the beginning of the game we're all in the soccer field, and there was 1,100 people.
Yeah, there was a lot of people in that soccer field.
At the end of the game for the raffle, there was like 200 tops. And so we're like, oh man, the chances of you winning something are actually pretty good right now.
And I told you guys I've won a fusion engine and a jack at these ones. So maybe we'll win something big. Dude, they start throwing out stuff like bags of BBs, full bottles of BBs.
Now there was the one bottle. Yeah. Hidden in the combat shirt.
Yes, from Blue Mag or whatever, I think.
Yeah. That wasn't AMS throwing that out. That was one of the vendors. But Bo's launching the smoke grenades, and if you're not paying attention, it'll get you good. I saved Tyler's life.
Yes.
Bag of BBs came right for his face, just like grabbed it right in front of his face. But the odd part, it was so odd, so strange. So they actually like start the raffle process where they start reading out numbers and whatnot, and when people would win, it was just dead
silence, quiet.
Nobody was clapping or anything, and it was just like, whoa, that's fucking weird. So then, once they read off the first number, Hoffman's like, well, I guess we're the cheer squad. That, man. Because every other game I've been to, dude, somebody wins something, everybody's like, oh yeah, like you don't have to be happy for the guy, but it should be a happy
Everybody
time for
should be
him,
clapping or something. Yeah.
It's just free shit that you're getting. You know what I mean?
It was literally dead silence.
Dude.
Like it was wild.
Hoffman was like, I've never seen so many dead people standing. It was so we were like, fuck it, for everybody that wins, big or small, we're gonna cheer for him. I actually lost my voice because of the cheering part. And everybody's looking at us like we're the weirdos.
Except for the guys in front of us.
Yeah, the guys in front of us
like,
consumers.
Can you come to every event to cheer? Like, because usually these are like this. I was like, wow, really?
So odd.
Yeah, it was so odd. And I love how Sean was like, you go up there, white shirt man. You're amazing.
Did it feel like these guys that
Sean
catcalling?
Did it feel like these people felt as though they were losing something by not winning a raffle?
That's what it felt like.
That's what it felt like. It could be also a factor of they were totally shot from the 2 days. It's very possible.
The last 200.
That's possible too. They were launching stuff. So we got a pretty big pile of stuff at that point. We had like 4-5 bags of BBs.
Probably
I don't know, like
8 to 10 smokers.
Yeah, like 6 smokes. Connor got a Titan charger, which he actually needed.
Oh yeah, they were just throwing Titan chargers.
Yeah, the boxes were coming out, and just like the paperwork is fluttering in the air.
You had to keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
More so for the raffle than the game.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, man.
Bo was chucking them out there. That was kind of crazy.
I was more worried about getting hit by that shit than a BB the entire weekend.
Yeah,
it's like, oh fuck, man.
Then who
we had Sean's polite cat calling.
Yes, and then
which was hilarious. Ethan, Mr. Heatkaz, won the
body
armor
he was the
vest.
first. He was the first one to win. He won that body armor, and he got the roll.
Yeah, he got the.
I suggested get the roll instead of just the little armor. The roll you can use it.
And then we had all agreed as a group that if anyone won anything, we were giving you the raffle ticket to go up there and get it.
Yeah, because I'd be like energetic and be like, "Oh my god!" Yeah.
And we just wanted to yell "Red Drink Rich."
This is the greatest day of my life.
Oh yeah, because that was the whole thing. Is like the whole game. I would do these charges, but before that, I would literally put the water, the Kool-Aid in there and like chug the whole 16 ounce and then just run. Like that was that one run on Saturday.
This is Red Drink Rich.
Yeah, and on Saturday I did a run from the bridge just beyond like the church mosque thing, just outside the shanty town or whatever, all the way to the school.
Oh my god!
At full gallop.
Come to think of it, Sunday you did the exact same run from the exact same.
I did from the same exact position, but I only made it like halfway before I said, "Oh, dude, I ate that huge breakfast."
Yeah,
I had 3 plates of hash browns, scrambled eggs, 3 French toasts. Dude, I was so hungry from the day before, and I ate all that, and I felt fantastic. It's just that we had just got that, and that was like the first movement of the day, and I like chugged that drink, and I was running, I was fine, but then I got like a burp, and then I burped out, and I was like, all right, I'm good. I got to the one building, and then I threw a hand grenade around the corner. I killed the one guy, and then I threw another, and it bounced off the wall, and I had to slap out of my hand, and it literally exploded, like, no joke, like right where my hand is, and I was like, ah, and I died. Like,
So
that was that. But
Back to the raffle.
But anyway, back to the raffle. When you won,
Yeah,
your name was
so-
called for a hop up for $100 gift
Yeah,
card.
$100 gift card to hop up.
And
And
I
I
got-
remember.
I just got up and I was like, yeah, like you're handing me your ticket. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's me that won. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was kind of in the moment I realized I mildly fucked up because I was so excited in that moment. I'm like, oh my God, I actually won. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be the one that wins. So I ducked down. I'm like, Rich, take my ticket. Take my ticket.
And I give him mine. I like drop mine. I'm like, yeah, my God. And like yelling and screaming.
but it's just us.
So everything the group won, you went up for?
No, just
Did
No,
you go
no,
up
just
with
that
it?
one. Just that one. Because then we would have been a little too suspicious, I guess.
yeah.
But just for that one, because we thought that was it. Like, Ethan won one, Jordan won one. Nobody else is winning.
You're on
right?
your 5th prize. You're popping champagne.
Yeah, nobody else is winning. And then like they had, I went up there and they're like, yeah, you win $100. I looked in and I literally opened the thing right away. And I'm like, dude, is there $100 in here? And it was just like
Yeah, I have
like
to email him.
an email or whatever, which is cool. You know what I mean? Get something off Hop.
Sticker
Like
is dope too.
the sticker is actually really cool, actually. And then they did still have things to throw out. So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
sometimes they'd be throwing out stuff, and you'd be like,
They threw out 2 helmets.
yeah, they
Yeah,
threw out
so
2
PTS
PTS
threw-
helmets
PTS threw 2 M.T.C fluxes.
and
they were
and
just like,
stocks.
yeah, they were throwing
They threw
PTS
stocks.
stocks and PTS mags like
Yeah.
left and right.
It was wild.
Elite Force raffled off 2
Wait,
MG4s.
they were just like the PTS stuff was not a prize. They were just throwing.
They were
it
just
out.
throwing
Yeah.
EPM mags.
It was
out.
meant to be.
I'm actually upset. that I
It was
know
meant to
today.
be like an actual raffle, but they're like, "Do you want us to throw it or call a number?"
Oh, there was a
And-
storm system coming in.
Yeah, it was
too.
a storm. Yeah.
So,
So
It's
they
also
threw-
because well,
I was gonna say they threw those things, and then like, and then Elite Force had the like you were just
Elite
saying.
Force had the 2 MG4s, but with PTS, because like I'm a PTS distributor, whenever I ask them like, hey, do you want to send merch for like raffles for like Crossroads or like events we're having? They're like, yeah, sure. And they just send you a PTS swag bag. And usually in them for distributors to give out as like a stock, a grip, a pistol grip, 3 mags. Like that's their normal go-to in like a PTS shirt.
yeah.
So like they probably had a bunch of those bags to give out, but instead they were just like, we're just
yeah.
Mm,
They were just
interesting.
launching shit.
Damn.
But yeah, the Elite Force put out the 2 MG4s.
Yeah.
One guy won one of those, and then the other guy, and then guys were winning. We were still charging, going, "Yeah, you won!" And
Yeah.
like,
It was
he's
went
like,
on
"You
for
go
like
up there,
an
Mullet
hour.
Man!" Like Sean's like, "You go up there, Mullet Man!"
Yeah.
Like just ridiculous. And then one guy won a whole box of BBs, the rest that they were gonna throw with that. So then all of a sudden, like Nocturnal Industries comes out. Nocturne Industries comes up. It's a night vision company. And they're like, all right, like they have one for their PBS 14 for their Tonto. And then they have one for 50% off whatever's in your cart. And who in the group wins that? This guy right here.
I'm sitting there looking. So, like, I don't need more guns or BBs or
Yeah.
whatever. Fuck, like I can get what I want. But I was like, ooh, this one. I
This
think
was
I
kind
said
of,
it
we
out
were all
loud.
looking like,
You did. You said it out
I think I
loud.
said out loud. I was like, ooh, I wouldn't mind winning this one because
Yeah.
my midlife crisis is going to be the quad tubes from
Yeah.
Nocturne, right? And I was like, cool. And I'm half looking at the numbers and half getting ready to cheer on whoever's going to win this, right? And then it took me a second. I was like, oh, son of a bitch, that's my number.
yeah.
And then I look at these guys, I was like, I won. And they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then I prance up there and make a fool of myself because it's like everybody else is just like walking up, like, and then walking away.
Yeah, they're trying to take
Did
a
you give a
picture.
speech?
The best is they were trying to take pictures of everybody that would win something.
Yeah.
And they would be like, and just like walk away. Like they would try to take pictures for promotion. You know what I mean? Like at the raffle.
Wow.
I actually when I got it, I was like, this is 50% off on the cart. And I looked right at the Nocturne guy and I was like, hey, when are your quads coming out? And he was like, oh, later this year. I was like, can I use this on that? And he goes, yeah. I said, that's all I need to know, brother.
So the quads from that company, if no one knows, they actually fold.
They
they're
articulate.
articulating.
Yeah.
They articulate, and you can actually butcher an Ambus 10 GP28 if you have that, the $40,000 one, and then
the
the Loomis, I think that's the other one, or you wait for theirs that are coming out that are like specifically folding, and
It's 50% off your cart.
your cart.
No glass, no tubes.
So and everybody's like, that's the expensive
a whole
part.
unit, a whole device.
The housing.
The housing.
Yeah.
So that, let's say the housing, we were looking on it's like $2,500, just like that one that we're talking about, the one that you have to butcher another, and it's just the bridge that folds.
Yeah.
The other thing is not out yet. So let's just say it's around the same price. Let's just say it's like $3,000, right? Let's just say it's that.
That's good.
So now you're half of that,
$1,500.
$1,500, you know, and then you get, you know, all you got to do is source glass.
I mean, I'll probably do everything like in 2 transactions, right? I'll buy whatever I need
Yeah.
for that 50% off,
Mhm.
and then I'll just get the tubes and the glass because I don't want to mix and match tubes.
Yeah.
Like I have L3s in my Sentinels.
Yeah.
I don't want to put L3s in the middle, and then I think they use Photonis tubes on the outside because if there's a slight color difference, my ADD is going to be like,
Yeah, OCD, it's gonna be like whatever. But you know what you could always do? What you do is like you get the one built that flip, you know, the Nocturne. You try it out, you like it, then you go, all right, I'm gonna sell my Anvis. Okay, and then you
I'm so attached.
unless you don't do that. Okay,
So
okay. So then you know, but that's an option too. But yeah, that thing.
Those Sentinels are like just you could throw them against a wall.
They call it the UAP NVG Chimera,
Yeah.
and it is friggin' dope. I saw that. I was like,
do they have a price on there?
We should turn all
yeah.
the lights off for this conversation.
not yet.
No.
No.
It's night vision.
But yeah, so I won that, and it's pretty sweet, and we just kept cheering for everybody.
Yeah, and then the next guy won an actual
EVS 14.
Tonto. Yeah, Tonto.
Yeah, and it was like some kid,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, he came to this event with no MVGs, and he's walking away with what, $2,500 or
At least.
You know, like-
their 14s.
like now you can see in the dark, my guy. Like,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
shit, what an awesome raffle!
Still can't talk to girls, but you can see in the dark.
Yeah, whatever. He can look at them through their windows or whatever.
I was plugging a T-shirt. I don't know that kid. I wasn't trying to make fun of him, but
Okay.
Jordan has a shirt design that says can't talk to girls but can see in the dark.
and
That's
it's a
hilarious.
photo of GPMVG 18.
It's so
That's
creepy.
awesome.
That's pretty good.
But
And then we just missed the rain. So that was it.
you know what I will
when
say?
we were driving out, I turned around and I noticed there was this huge black cloud.
Yeah.
It gave me flashbacks from when you got rained on.
Oh yeah, when we were trying to test my.
Except this was state sized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we made some really good decisions in terms of like the vehicles. Like Friday night before we went on the OP4 thing, we loaded everything up.
I said let's take everything and fold the seats down in the rental. That's the other thing. Our rental was a Toyota 4Runner, and it stunk like milk, like milk coffee, something.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it was by the end of the weekend it stopped, but like initially it was bad. It was very bad. It was not even milk. It was foul, even for me.
It was pretty. We all got in at the airport because we're like, yeah, we got an upgrade because we would, and then we get in, we're all like,
Oh,
you guys fucking smell
oh
that?
my gosh.
Like this vehicle's been closed up for who knows how long.
yeah.
It's not cold out, it's like warm out. And then we just all get in. We're like, what the fuck? Like we're trying to place, like, what is it? We've smelled it before.
Windows down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've
I
smelled it
literally
before.
thought that it was coffee with coffee creamer, like the coffee mate, that like somebody put so much coffee mate in it and then it spilt, and that's what it smelled like to me. It smelled like something like that artificial milk smell.
It was kind of like mildewy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
It
thought
was
it was
weird.
mildew.
But yeah, so we packed up the cars before on Friday night, and then Saturday we did the same. No, Saturday we drove our cars to the fob, loaded them up, and then went out. And it was kind of funny because there's that road that goes outside of the training area and around. And I'm riding with Rich. I'm driving, and he's like, "Yeah, you make a right here." And in my head, I'm like, "But it's right there." Like I'll just. So I was like, "Fuck it." I just went straight down. I drove slow. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. And we got everything loaded up. And then the same thing on Sunday, right before the raffle, we loaded everything up, and then we pulled our cars to the opposite side of the soccer field. So
once
Like-
it was done, we were hopping right in and
straight shot right out, man. And then there was a train. There was a train stopped at the tracks, and everybody was stopped there. But we caught it beforehand, so we just darted down this side road, went like 2 miles on this dirt road, and then another mile on this gravel road. Got back out to the main road and passed, and that train still hadn't moved. So there was a
and
bunch
it's one of the
people-
long ones where like
Was it still on the tracks?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah, that had to be like a 1.5 mile long train.
oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
they-
and I think they frequently stop there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I that's what when I first told you guys. Yeah, we've been stuck behind that before, where like you can't go anywhere, like
Yeah.
you're stuck.
But
What about All right, so that we've talked about the
We've
game.
talked about some of
Saturday.
the good. We've talked about some of the bad.
well, look.
Is there another good? Is there another bad?
Well,
I
let's
think
go with the
bad.
bad, right? This is potentially bad. This could be potentially bad for AMS.
Yeah.
Granted, the porta-johns that were there were probably supplied by M.U.T.C,
Mm-hmm.
but there was only 2 porta-johns visibly near the parking area.
The parking area, the staging area for safety briefings and the vendors and the chrono.
I thought there were some in the
Yeah.
vendors area.
Somebody
there
said
some?
there was 2 more on the other side of the
Oh, okay.
vendor area.
There were also 2 more in front of the prison, and they were sporadic throughout the field. However, everybody's going to park over here. People are camping over there.
Yeah.
1,100 people are camping over there.
Only 2 are there.
It might have been wise to have 15 porta-johns there,
Yeah.
and even still, that might not have been enough. But Sunday,
Not even Sunday.
Not
Saturday.
Saturday. I went in there to pee because we had been drinking so much water, and no exaggeration, the pile of feces was approaching. No, it was flush. It was flush with the fucking toilet.
Yes, because I
Which
opened
means
it. I
It
took a
was
video
heaping
of it.
until somebody sat on it, and then
Yeah.
it became flush.
I'm telling you, whoever the last 2 people were to actually take a shit in there are disgusting heathens, because there's no way. If it's 3 inches below the seat, I'm out. Hey,
Yeah.
that's plenty of room for your own shit to like slap your balls on the way down. Like
Yeah,
give
it
your
was
balls
not-
the high five.
Yeah.
Oh.
But 2 more people dropped massive deuces. So I mean, the last person to do it must have been hurting, son.
Yeah.
Like either he like straddled or straddled the seat, or never made physical contact.
Yeah.
Because if you sat on that, your ass
I-
would
I also
be
feel
poopy.
I feel terrible for like the women at the event that had
Oh,
like
God.
I don't even know what they had to do. I mean, because let me tell you, because then by Sunday,
Oh god.
I have never seen a urinal of a porta potty overflowing.
Yes. I went to take a piss, and like the shit side is, I mean, it's Atlantis now coming out of the fucking water.
Shitlantis,
It's Shitlantis.
Shitlantis coming.
I mean, it's
coming out from the Pacific.
like, dude, there was piss in a moat completely around. I mean, you ever seen those iceberg charts?
Yes, and it's much deeper. There's,
Like
more
that's-
there's more levels to that.
That
You
was
know?
that was the porta john, and I was
Of
like,
2 porta johns where 1,100 people are
Yeah.
walking by, and like, dude,
so I was like, okay, the shit side's filled up or whatever, and I know the piss goes in there, but I was like, whatever. And I start pissing in the urinal, and the urinal starts backing up, and I'm like, Jesus, I've never seen this before.
Were you too soon in the piss to like stop
Oh
it?
no, it was
it was
free
go
flowing
time.
at that point. And the sad part is like on the entire property, there were more than enough porta johns. It was just the placement.
yes, it was bad.
The placement, like in the shitty part. No, the shitty part is that like all it would take. I mean, realistically,
He's like, hyperventilate here.
Anthony is losing
like
He's crying.
like all it would take is for somebody with, I don't know, the right stick. Maybe this person works for like the health department or something.
Yeah.
But he plays airsoft and looks at that and takes a picture and posts it, regardless of who actually owns that porta-john.
Yeah.
It would be associated with AMS. And I think that was a failure. Like man, like this is the parking area. This is the first thing players are going to see.
And
like,
we also saw the Porta John Company on Saturday.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what
they
confused
missed
me.
Shitlantis.
Yeah, they missed Shitlantis
They missed that
from
one.
the Pacific.
'Cause
What was the other one? What was the other?
Aslantic or something.
Atlantic.
Well, like somebody had said that. They said, "Oh, hey," and this is Saturday afternoon. They're like, "Hey, don't use that. The Porta Johns over by the vendors just got pumped
You know-
out, and no one could find the ones over there."
Yeah.
But if the company was here pumping out those Porta Johns, why did Shitlantis still happen?
Maybe they looked at it and were like, nah.
No.
Yo, I'll tell you right now. I have a video of it because Sean opened.
Oh,
the
I know.
door.
I have the video.
So we'll be able to maybe drop that into this. I don't know. That would be
That's Dave's call.
That would be.
I
I mean, I did scream out Milsim before.
He did.
it was I don't know if I want to distribute it. I don't want to like tarnish
Yeah, I think
anybody's
it's a bad
name over
idea.
it, but it was
That was,
I do have the memes.
and by Sunday it was stinking the
doubt-
whole area.
I doubt AMS staff are spending much time in the porta potties.
I doubt it too, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But I mean, we found, but like the rest of the Porta Johns, man, out by the water tower and everything, they were
Water tower up by
completely-
the crescent area. There was 4 of them,
Yeah.
and Tyler went in one, and he's like, they literally were not used at all.
zero. It was
Zero
it
at
was
all.
Awesome.
Nice.
It was
Pristine.
awesome. Pristine Porta. It's bad that you look at a Porta John and you're like, yes,
That's
nice.
the good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, nice. So that was a bit of a gripe, I guess. Like that, there should have been a better placement on the Porta Johns.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it just boggles my mind that nobody was like, "Hey, 1,100 people are here.
But now
40% are
and
camping."
and I would say,
you know?
and here's the thing: is that those 2, mind you, were the only Porta Johns not in a play area. So you would have
Yeah.
to go on the field with your goggles,
Yeah.
or your safety wear, or PPE and all that, and go out there to go to the bathroom, which is totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we kind of did that Sunday morning. We went all the way up north just to see how the Porta Johns looked.
That was a necessity, though.
Yeah.
I didn't want
Oh
to
yeah,
get-
we forgot about the Sunday at the end when we actually battled in the actual crescent area and had that little engagement.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot about that. We were so excited, but
yeah. So yeah, we just, you know what we started doing? We went to the hospital, looked
yeah,
around.
the
Like,
hospital we looked around.
It was amazing.
And then left there. And then I was telling you guys, let's go to this other area. We went to the 6-story broken down building, and that's where the staircases are.
Like the little
different.
Bukhara market.
Yeah, we
thing.
saw like some.
Awesome.
It looked like there was like plates or something that had NSW warfare or whatever
That's
on
right.
it, and they had like little steel plates that were like the size of a head, and like definitely bullet holes from another building,
Oh, yeah.
whatever. And then then we battled some like tan guys on the top of like a parking garage, a crushed up parking garage. And
And that was a lot of fun.
that was a lot of fun right over there. I told you, man.
And it was like-
that area was great.
It was like a 10v5 or something.
Yeah,
Literally
something like
broke
that. It
down.
wasn't even that many people. Maybe at the most like 25.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You know,
It was a lot of fun.
but yeah, that's I mean, so I guess the pros and cons. I mean, is there any
What
more?
did we learn?
What do we learn? You need to do a medic rule. You need to do a buddy aid rule. AMS. You can. I think you should add that somehow. Yeah, you got to do that because like it would just stop confusion right off the bat. Some kind of first buddy aid, and then maybe a second aid as a medic or
They're saying
something.
Streamline the medic system.
Yeah, definitely streamline the medic system.
Get rid of dragging.
Get rid of dragging.
Simplify the aid stations.
Simplify the
Simplify
aid
the aid
station
station rules.
Yeah.
rules.
What's
Yeah,
going on?
rules and water distribution. Like
Yeah.
a positive was you had U-Hauls to take people around, so there wasn't a lot of heat cas. Obviously, that's not very like
They did
super
do
hardcore milsim for some people. But why the hell walk if you don't have to?
They did do a really good job with any instance of a heat cas. Because
Okay.
you said somebody, oh, wait, no, I do. Okay, I have another gripe, but we'll get to it in a second. If somebody heat cased, it was minutes of, okay, they're already off the field. Like when we told the staff member, like, hey, we got 2 dudes in our group that are heat casing right now. It was like within 4 minutes, the truck was there, their kit was off, they were in the back of the truck being taken
See,
out.
that's wild to me
Nice,
because if
yeah.
they're that fast on the radio, why weren't they like, yo, get the water to this area? We wouldn't even
Yeah.
have a feed gas.
Yeah.
But with the heat cas being brought up, it just spurred a memory. Stop using corpsmen as your real world.
So, yeah, I agree with that. I think
I guess for other people should know that the rule for a real world situation or somebody's really injured
Yeah.
is you yell out corpsman.
But what that turned into was no one would echo it. So like
Because it sounds like just an in-game, somebody's
Right.
asking for a medic.
right,
Yeah,
because there's
exactly.
if you're hit and your dead rag's out, you can call for a medic. But now if your buddy just dislocated his shoulder, broke his ankle, or is passed out, you're yelling corpsman. In those moments, I understand you don't want to stop the game because you want it to continue on, but continuing with the not on brand with AMS. If it is something that bad, real world ceasefire, stop the game, let everyone know around you there is a problem. And it's across the board, everyone has to echo it, because there were moments on Saturday or Sunday where corpsman was called 5 buildings over and there's still a firefight happening because we didn't know that they had called it down there because somebody yells corpsman and no one echoes it.
Yeah.
It's not like socially required to echo it back. If you are in dire need of real medical emergency, if you die in the game, you die in real life. You need to break the immersion, stop the game, take care of whatever it is. Real world ceasefire. It needs to break the immersion of the game. Even MSW does it. And that's not on brand for them. On brand for them would be to continue the game.
Well, they do. What do they do? Ceasefire.
They do ceasefire.
Ceasefire, yeah.
See, to me, that's confusing as well because, like, in the distance with blank fire firing or whatever, it sounds like lift fire. I mean, it sounds similar. I just would like a word
Real world.
that's complete. I like real world because, like, no one else is saying that. You wouldn't say that, or some word that you would never say.
It's not a command.
Imagine if your ticket comes with like a fucking dollar store whistle.
So
That way people can utter whatever immersive bullshit.
I
they're
think
gonna
what
utter
would
right
happen
away.
is you'd get, well, that sounds like a good thing. There's a lot of teams, especially at Milsim West, that use that whistle for commands to like actually like do an attack. And then there's also like, you know how some people are. They're just going to go, because they're just like, you know, I see a whistle. I can like,
Thick airsofters.
yeah.
or trolls.
Or just trolls, or just like blow a whistle, and then you're like, oh, what the fuck is this? You know? So yeah, real world just is better. Corpsman just sounds like, because of how real or something like that, just you could
It's
just
the
say
cadence.
yeah. And corpsman, like because of how far it travels, it sounds like or it
Also
sounds like,
for
you sound like the Peanuts.
for any
Like the school
ADD,
teacher going, and you're like, what was that?
yeah,
Okay.
for like any ADD airsofter that like kind of zone out during that part of the brief where they
Yeah.
didn't read, right? When it comes down to just natural instinct, corpsman, if you didn't pay attention, just sounds like some military word. If you don't know any better,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that just sounds like it's part of the game. But then real world, oh my god, it's real world. Like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Like, okay, break out from your.
there's
I just killed Anthony with 3 knife kills.
real knife kills
With some,
Oh, God.
with a curved knife. You have a karambit,
Kookery.
kookery.
oh boy, that's really embarrassing, Anthony. Why didn't you have your like
That is.
souped up tech guns and like you should have
I
been?
did, but the gun sucks if you suck. So like
Yeah.
you are the
Well,
weapon,
guess
and
what?
I was not.
Wow, you
prepared.
are the weapon.
I was
wow, that
not
is
prepared. I
you know
I was
what?
trying to bring my gun up, and I was just
whoever that
and
guy.
I honestly did not think he had a pistol. I thought he.
I'm gonna be
had a
honest.
knife.
You should, if that
He
man,
shot me.
if that guy is listening, you should find out. Oh man, Anthony.
50% off.
Oh,
Do
think
you
you
remember?
said that.
Do you
I think
remember
you
that
did
podcast?
say that.
when I
yeah, you said that. If somebody could do that, yo, man, let me tell you get some tech work done because let me tell you something.
What was my offer again?
It was like 50% at least.
Yeah,
Off like labor, right?
dude, if you off labor,
And
I think it was
parts.
labor. Yeah,
Because I can't make parts come out of my ass, but I can make.
or you. It might have been
I can
the
pre-
parts.
I can
I think it was the
pretend like time
parts,
is-
okay, but like you do the labor or something like that within reason.
Clearly, the guy needs a gun. So-
Obviously, he does because he fucking
Dude, that's maybe why he was so excited because he knew it was you.
and his
Oh.
pistol.
You know?
His pistol. Is
And now you're
so-
backing out on your deal.
I'm not backing out. I'm not backing out.
Sounds like you're backing out.
I scared
I
him
know
away
that-
by yelling medic because I
You
was
scared him.
I just didn't want to hear what he had to say in that moment. But like, dude, if you're the one that knife killed the 3 of us that night game, and you came back and talked to us, and then I yelled medic, and then you said that thing when you
Yeah, but
like,
now
I'll
you're-
be back.
But now you're telling it. But now you're
message me at Anttech.airsoft on Instagram, and I will honor my word from the previous podcast. And that's a short.
That's 100% a short because we're gonna use it to call you out.
Yeah, no.
But I'm going to be honest with you
There's
here.
prizes to be had.
But here's the problem. You have you're gonna get a bunch of DMs like I was the guy. So you're gonna have to like think real long and hard how this guy got you,
When I hear his voice, I will know.
or a picture of what he wore at the event.
No,
I know-
you want to see the knife.
Yeah, you want to see.
I want to see the knife.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
gonna get so many.
I want to see the
people.
knife. I heard the pistol. I don't know what pistol it was, but based on hearing it, I have a pretty good idea what it is. I'm not going to throw any information.
Yeah,
out
don't
there
throw
'cause
any.
I don't
more
want anybody to.
information. Yeah.
Kind of, but I'm being 100% dead serious.
You're definitely gonna get some creepers that are gonna send you some weird swords, if you know what I mean.
right.
You're gonna get a lot of
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
sword. On guard, Anthony.
It was curved, but it wasn't a knife.
It curves to the left
Yeah.
because all the people are righty in the world or whatever.
Yeah.
Say it before.
It was such a wild thing, dude.
So yeah, you owe that kid. Shit.
But
do.
So that was a negative. The toilets. What positive
Oh
would
man,
be.
logistically Saturday, I fully expected the chrono line to be wrapped
Oh.
around, and the fact that we just walked right up.
Yeah, Friday and
and
Saturday. Yeah.
chronoed. And I mean, there were still it was just fast. People were coming and going. So I have been to other events that were over 1,000 players where I looked around and said there is 0% chance
It's
that
starting on time.
everybody got chronoed.
Yeah.
I feel like 90%, if not 100%, people got chronoed.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I
you had to.
honestly believe
It
it.
was really right by the entrance to the vendors.
Yeah.
It was right by like the entrance to the parking, and that was really smooth process. So I guess like if Fatco was running that was definitely a positive on their part. They had like full staff. Oh hey man, what do you need? Age, and it was like not standing around. If there was like an AEG, they would. I noticed that they would take an HPA guy and they would just look at the joule limit on his gun or whatever, or they'd ask a mag. It looked like, just to speed up the process because a lot more people had like HPA guns. You know what I mean? To the AEG at sometimes, but then sometimes it switched. But like that process was
Yeah, man.
fast. That was
And with our group, we had 3 Kytheras, but it was like we each had a Kythera, and they were cool with us just like passing the guns off. So
Yeah.
one of us took all the guns to the HPA line, and another one of us just did all the AEGs. And
The
they didn't treat it like we're cutting chrono. They were just they moved it along.
the safety brief process, I liked how it was separate and it was in its own building, so you could kind of, from a staff standpoint, you could control who's coming in and out, right?
yeah.
That seemed okay. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
like I said, full disclosure, we didn't have the same safety brief experience that everybody else
Except
did,
Anthony.
except for
The
Anthony.
brief was good. It's just, and it's gonna be my main con, is just you can't fix stupid.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter how good of an event producer you are. There's just some people that are inferior to most human
Well, hold on.
beings.
Oh my-
when it
do you
comes
think-
to when it comes to
Wow.
paying attention and
Wow.
and just critical thinking, like seriously, and it has to be called out because it's fucking dangerous. And I'm gonna get into that because there's some shit in the parking lot that pissed me off.
So do you think it's purely lack of intelligence, or do you think it's somebody who thinks about rules in a way that's like, how can I game this rule?
When I tell you my story,
Okay.
it's intelligence. Look, there are not everybody's equal, man. Some people really just are just not paying attention, or maybe he was high, right? People smoke weed, even though it's probably illegal in Indiana. People, I don't know, but people
Yeah, I don't know.
do it, right? There's a bunch of reasons why some people are just like not present, like they're just not like dancing to the same song as everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that, but I think if your rules are really, really super simple, it's like then you got no problem.
Okay,
but like
tell me
that, how
this.
there's like there's an aid station, there's like you wrap up, but you gotta wait for a medic. You can get killed. A knife kill means more, and I'm doing trigonometry in my head, figuring out what. No. That's there's, and especially when you're playing against so many people, like especially from a game that you literally have to admit to yourself that you fucked up. That is like, you're just better off making it easy as possible to go, yeah, I fucked up. But all right, well, my buddy's over there. He's going to heal me and I'll be all right.
I'll tell you this, man. A particular individual during the safety brief that demonstrated that he was very much not picking up what has been getting put down for the past 5 minutes pertaining to one particular question. The same guy was a couple tents over from us in the parking lot. Now, parking lot, mags and guns shooting, yes or no?
Oh, Wild West.
Oh, Yeah, not good.
Like,
I would assume
is that accepted? Is that something
No.
you would do in the parking lot?
No.
Is load your gun and shoot it? When you can walk to the chrono station with a range that you can use whenever you want for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
would
they have
not
to
do
walk.
Yeah, we got
So
Yeah.
we're hearing gun firing, an airsoft gun firing, and like it just sounds like it's coming close. And we heard it earlier, and I asked that, like, hey, is one of you guys shooting in the woods? And like, because I was like, what's going on? I just want to know where it was coming from. I'm not an admin. I wasn't like pretending to enforce the rules or anything. I didn't even know if they were allowed to do it in the parking lot. Because if they were doing it like in the woods in a safe direction, I really don't care that much. But the first guy kind of gave me like a little, well, I'm shooting in that direction. It's fine. I was like, okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like those guys. Because we were on a tree line and then there was like a bend. There's like a corner. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't these guys over here shooting in the woods, getting close to our tent. Because I don't want to get shot in the eye in my tent where I'm not required to wear eye pro.
parking lot.
In the parking
You're in the
lot.
parking lot.
Also, that was a bingo square, needing eye pro in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And he gave me kind of a fucking standoffish attitude about it, and then he stopped doing it. And then later on, I clearly saw the leaves right behind our tent getting impacted by BBs. And I hear the firing coming from the left again. Well, now this is that guy's buddy, that guy from the safety brief, who I was just like face palming over. And I was like, hey, brother, like I don't work here, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to like shoot here. Could you please just stop shooting at our tent? And he was like, oh, but I saw your tent. And I was like, so you saw our tent and you continued to fire at it. I was like, can you please stop? Dude, what if I just step back there to take a piss and he sees a tent and then he thinks it's clear and then somebody just walks out and he's just shooting and you shoot somebody like, now, if I were to bring this up to like Bo, he would be like, you need to get staff immediately. You got to do this, this, and that. Well, there was just like little things like that happening that it was not worth getting the staff's attention for every little thing. Like I talked to him and it stopped. You know what I mean?
Was this at night?
This was during the day. But the fact that it happened to begin with, you know,
when was this, on Friday?
Friday or Saturday. The fact that it happened to begin with is like, it doesn't matter how many times you post that up or write it up. There's just some people that are just either too inconsiderate, or they're too stupid, or they're fucking intoxicated, or they're just blatantly like just sadistic assholes or sociopaths and pretending like they're stupid. You know, there's still going to be somebody in one of those categories that's going to do it.
I'm telling you,
it was not a negligent discharge. He was intentionally firing.
But he saw your tent. It's okay.
He's like, oh, I saw your tent. As in, like, I'm not shooting your tent. It's okay that I'm still shooting in your fucking backyard.
Yeah, like 8 inches. I'm like 8 inches away from your tent, bro.
Yeah, and like to me, that was a safety thing. These guys came a little bit later. They parked like really close to our tent, like almost like within 6 feet of the wall of our tent was like their car. And based on how everybody else was parked, that was just like, he really squeezed in between two spots, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right. And these guys come out and they have this huge fucking cardboard case of Coors Banquet glass bottle that rips because of condensation. And they drop all fucking 40 or however many beers on the floor right next to our tent, breaks all the glass, like beer. And they were like almost hesitant to pick it up. Like if we didn't say anything, they would have left it. And they cleaned it up and then they didn't really do a great job. And they're like, there's still some glass there, be careful. So now it's like this area that we kind of marked as like, this is kind of our camping ground that we were able to walk in without getting fucking hurt by stepping on glass. Now we can't do that because and it's stupid because it's alcohol. You're going to drink 40 fucking Coors Banquets before this weekend event. Like, this is what I mean by it. Like it's just, you're a fucking adult, dude. Drink water. Like you can do this any other time of the year. Like you spent so much, and it's not just you spent so much money and you're ruining it for yourself. Other people spent money, and not only are you making it unsafe for them, but you're just making it like confusing and frustrating for them. So, and again, like having spoken to Bo about it a little bit Saturday night, I know that he really believes that there's something on their end that they can do to fix that. But he'll also acknowledge that he can't fix stupid, you know, but like, and I know he wants that to not happen, but the reality is like, it's gonna happen. And it's just, I feel like some days are worse than others. Some crowds are worse than others.
Sure.
And fortunately, this wasn't the Call Your Hits crowd. You know, like you never know what bag of like doo-doo you're going to get. And to me, I don't know. It's just fucking stupid. Like that message isn't really for AMS to critique them. It's really just anybody watching this playing Airsoft. Just like, don't be that fucking shithead because everybody's looking at you and they're judging you. And you know, your genes are not worth passing down to future generations.
Christ.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I get it, dude. I mean,
It's frustrating, dude. People lose eyes. People actually fucking die when they heat cas. Like, come on, man. It's already hard enough to justify Airsoft to the rest of the normal world.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't partake in it. Like, like, come on, don't be a prick. Like, just I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think it's
That's my
wild. I took my magazine out every time that we walked. Like every time we passed the what's it called?
The prison.
The prison. My mag was out. I cleared my chamber.
Yeah.
I didn't put them. There was a couple times we started walking up in the fields like, I should probably put a mag in.
Yeah.
But that could also just be conditioning because we own a field and we operate a field. And, you know,
that's another thing too. Is you guys own a field all the time. Like I mean, somebody not having a magazine in or whatever, and it isn't like shooting or whatever. Like it's easy to be like that guy's an idiot and be like, hey, forgot the one time. But you guys are always at a field. You guys are always doing it. You're almost like hammered into it. But yeah, like the shooting and like a breaking of glass near a guy's tent, I'd feel terrible. I'd be like, yo, do you want me to like move the tent for you or something like that? That's just people being, you got to realize, man, like guys that are young, their brains aren't fully developed. So like
they weren't
your
young.
brain,
these were grown ass men.
Are you sure about that?
They were totally older than me. I'm 25. If you're older than me, you ought to have your shit together.
Oh,
you
shit.
drove to this event. You did a long,
public roads.
You went on a public road and drove to this event, which means you were able to buy a ticket, which means you were able to plan a trip, which means you have a vehicle, which means you have a driver's license. You're pretty like in society. And you have disposable income to spend on this, which means you must have some job or source of income. So there's some part of your life where like you can truly keep it together, but somehow you're
on a roll.
But somehow you're fucking up in this one area of just like common courtesy or just fucking intelligence. I don't know what it is, man. It's,
you know what grinds my gears?
like they don't. It's like nothing because I shim it perfectly.
Oh, got him.
Yeah.
Good one. That was great.
That's a nice segue.
Yeah.
Anttech Airsoft. If you want tech work done.
Speaking of which, players like you that knife killed me, you're cool, and
I want you to.
You didn't knife kill me in the parking lot.
I want you to be able. I want you to take cut a bolt action cylinder in half, and put the bolt action in the knife, so he can fire one BB out of it.
No, he's not gonna have to sneak up on somebody like that ever again.
Oh shit!
I hope he recorded it. I hope he had GoPro.
That's good. That's good.
I don't think he did.
Oh man,
It is like
If he GoPro'd it, that'd be great. And he sent you as proof, that'd be fantastic.
oh yeah.
that'd be so.
And you're like, are you with your night vision? Oh man.
Another thing that kind of griped me out is, like I mentioned it earlier, people had to stick up their ass about some of the more mundane rules, and there was a lot of accusatory, there's just a lot of accusations from the other team about like us not following certain rules. So when you die, what do you say?
Hit.
Or
Ah.
medic. That's the only thing you're allowed to say. It's not medic,
No.
yes, medic, no, yada, 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 right? And I'm hit. I'm yelling medic. This is when we were in Shantytown. And you and Alphonse and the other guys went right. And then me and Tyler just took the tree line on the left, thinking we can clear it out and flank in, right? We walked on the tree line. These tans were in there. Yeeted us, bro. Like, good for them. They got a really good kill. We didn't even see them. So I'm hitting, just calling for a medic. Medic. I'm shouting medic. And the stand player is like annoyed that I'm calling for a medic. And he's talking to his friend like, they're totally baiting us. They're totally baiting us, right? And then as he gets closer, he's like, I know what that's code for. Like,
Code for I need a medic.
it's like, but he was unironically accusing me
Oh,
of doing
you know
some
what?
type of code.
Oh,
to
I
my
know
teammates.
that because that's an old school trick to be like medic, and like go like that, and then you'd be like, it would mean that like there's a guy right near me. You come over right now, and you're gonna like maybe shoot this other guy.
I was repetitively,
Yeah, I can see that.
I was repetitively going medic. Like I lost my voice because I was actually yelling for a medic, and it was just like some Greens came in eventually and took him out, and then this is the woods. This is the area where somebody was like, "I'm hit. Can't you see that?" He's like, "I didn't see a dead rag," and he was like, "Sure." And then I was like, or maybe he actually didn't see it, and then they were like, "Okay, yeah."
But what you said there in the
It was
beginning, I did see players doing that on both sides.
medic yes, medic no.
Yeah, I
I saw
heard that a
that,
lot.
yeah.
I heard that a lot.
I heard that a
So
lot, and that, to be honest with you,
Medic
like,
yes, medic no.
yeah,
it took
yeah,
me a
But-
second to realize.
But seeing
what they were
that, do you
doing.
feel like you have to lecture these guys or tell them, hey, you can't do that? It's but
no.
No, because
I
I,
know
was
they're-
also
No,
watching
so,
them
like-
do it in front of game staff, and game staff didn't say anything in that moment. So
Sure.
yeah, but like the whole I'm going to tell the teacher type of attitude, like, oh, you can't do that. Like, and everybody who did that was wrong about the rules. Like they made their own embellishment to the rules and had this, I'm going to tell the teacher attitude over something that was not true. Like they were just factually incorrect, you know?
I don't know. I didn't have too many like interactions with anybody that was outside of our own squad, negative or positive. Like, it just,
Yeah, it was kind of like
I never,
Yeah.
look, to be honest with you, there was only like, even on the ubiquitous call your hits side of the house, everybody that I shot at, and I was like, yeah, I hit him. They all called. There's only 2 guys that we ran into. Actually, you were with me, where one guy, the grenade went off behind him, and Sean, and then a member of staff had to be like, hey, brother, like you're out. And then another guy, and that was it, man. Like other than that, like I didn't have any.
Yeah,
major-
I had one instant, and then like I was like, it was like on Sunday, and I was like, and I was like, the one time where I was like, fuck, I wish it was because the guy had a machine gun. We're both standing out. I turned the corner of the school. He's shooting me from a tree, and we're shooting at airsoft distance, and I've got to shoot semi-auto. He can do full auto. And that's where I'm like, son of a bitch. I wish everything was full auto. Just
Yeah.
fucking. And it was just a map, and it was just based on how much ammo you had in your gun. Because I would have lit him up. He would have lit me up, and it would have been okay. We're both dead. But like the semi-auto, like, and I was like, motherfucker. I'm like, no, okay, well, and then also the fact that I had to realize, yeah, my gun's shooting like really low FPS, so he may have not felt it, and whatever.
like,
but
Like I think the hit calling was okay.
yeah, I think it was.
I mean, given 1,100 players,
given
and I only
1,100
I only ran
and
into 2. You know?
1,100 and the distances we were shooting was like quite a bit. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, if anybody was like, I'm definitely hitting that guy, I'm like, dude, you're like arcing these things.
Yeah.
Like
There were many times where, because you can see everybody because it's flat and open,
Yeah.
200 yards, where I'm looking at the guy shooting at me, and then I'm looking in front of me like 20 feet. You can see like, okay,
Yeah.
he's dropping. There's a couple times
there's
where
BBs that are like bouncing and rolling,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
there was a couple times where dudes were doing that, and I would just point to the ground like this, and those guys literally stopped shooting because they're like, oh yeah, I'm falling short.
Yeah.
Like we were just like maybe this will get him, you know.
Yeah, with
like,
the machine guns. Yeah.
Yeah, the calling hits thing was like not an issue.
Yeah, it
and it's
wasn't
so
an issue.
weird because we're so used to that being the thing that like ruins the. And my game was not ruined by those instances, and in the moment I was not upset. It's just thinking about it in hindsight, I'm just like, it just doesn't add up as to why somebody would act like that unless if they were
And that's not
just like
and that's-
not in the good spirit of the game.
yeah
for some
and,
reason.
And that's not a knock.
And I think paying attention and educating yourself on the rules of that particular game is good sportsmanship. Like if you choose not to do that, you're just as bad as somebody who's intentionally breaking the rules, in my opinion, because
absolutely.
other people paid money for that experience.
I want to throw back too to the safety brief, right? This is a lesson that I'm trying to teach Cameron, right? Is that smart people ask questions when they don't understand something. Dumb people don't. They just sit there and pretend like they know what's going on, and then they don't. And I feel like maybe with this safety brief, again, we had the abbreviated one, so I don't know, but maybe there's a lot of more people that have questions. Maybe not the same question that was just asked 5 seconds ago, but maybe there's a lot of people out there that have questions about these rules because they're a little bit complicated with all that stuff. But they just sit there and they're just like, I'm just going to get through it and then go play airsoft. You know?
Yeah.
When in actuality, what should be happening is the safety brief is 30 minutes, and then there's 15 minutes where, hey, ask all your questions, do it now. And there should be maybe there should be more of an emphasis on, hey, ask the questions. You're not stupid for asking questions. Like literally, that's the opposite. Dumb people just sit there and like, oh, whatever,
and just let it happen and go,
Yeah.
oh man.
And then
I
they're the
didn't know.
ones that are like, well,
I didn't know.
but you're supposed to do it this way or whatever the fuck, So we have to break that stigma. I get it. Nobody wants to be there. Realistically, they all want to get out of there. And so sometimes if somebody's asking a bunch of questions, everybody's like, oh, that guy is asking a fucking, like, damn. But we need to let the questions happen.
That's definitely, that's definitely a good idea. Like having people that 15 minutes of like, oh, so like if that happens with that, and they're like, yeah, that's how it goes. Oh, okay. Like, it just clears up a lot. But like with most rules to a game, like I think the simpler, the better, because then you could just go back to basics and just simple. Like, but yeah, what was some of you got any more cons, or you're pretty good? Like,
let's see. I actually have pros I want to talk about. I've been
talk
talking
about
about
it.
a lot of cons, and what sucks about my cons is that you can't really fix them. And I know
are they an AMS? Are they an AMS specific?
Any AMS specific cons?
Yeah. That maybe they can fix and adjust and accordingly.
I do feel like some of the different staff members at times, like especially with grenade kills, like a staff member pretty much give a thumbs up or thumbs down if you're good or not. I felt like the kill radius or whatever seemed a bit inconsistent between different staff members, and I think that some redundancy among, and I don't know who the staff is. I don't know if they meet up to talk about the rules or you know what I mean? But like I feel like something like a 20-foot kill radius should be something that you understand what 20 feet is, and even if the last game was 10 feet and this game is 20 feet, like I feel like that's something pretty simple to remember considering how many grenades are being thrown at the event.
Yeah.
I
knew that there was
how many times
a lot of people did stop. I remember a lot of people were saying, I'm not throwing any more grenades because no one's calling them. I heard that a couple of times this weekend, but that could be like anything. You throw those things and, the EG67s, they're great if you see them in front of you, but if they go like behind you or whatever, you may not hear them. You really might not miss them.
Yeah,
like,
some people do have like ear pro on.
Yeah, ear pro, or you just don't hear because like you're literally
and they're encouraged to wear the ear pro too because of the grenades.
Yeah,
that very thing is that very thing that they're encouraged to do. There's safety first, right? But it's inadvertently causing that. It's like wearing a jacket in the winter when you play and then not feeling it hit. I think the only admin thing I would say is, again, it's like we talked about tired players who are not fit, and I'm not talking about fat people. Obviously, like that's not very fit, but like people that just don't get exercise and they heat Kaz out or whatever, they drop out of the game, or even not even just unfit people, but also people like get hurt by the dragging rule or whatever. They get hurt, whatever. They do walk off the field and stop for the weekend, and I think that the staff has to really take into account, or just kind of estimate better how many players actually are going to walk off. And I think I'm sure because they ran this event, they ran all the other events, they can kind of average them out and be like, yeah, generally speaking, this percentage of players drops out.
They probably do. They probably do have.
And then just kind of adjust the game, because Sunday felt like Saturday, but with less people. And maybe there could have been an opportunity to close things in.
Oh, like change the boundaries of the game.
Or just with the lower player count.
Okay.
Like maybe they can add something like there's the main fob, which you go to reload, but maybe there's like a special aid station that is just a bit closer, just for the sake of accounting for player attrition later in the game, so that when the numbers do drop like in half, and now it's like 250 versus 250 instead of 500 versus 500.
Yeah.
You're just closing everything in just so that like people are still getting the most for that time, because it takes time to walk back.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to walk back to your fob and stuff.
So you're saying that staff should have, well, this is what I would go with. I'll shorten up what you say. I think this is what you're talking about. You're talking about game staff. Who cares who wins or loses? Because we're all, like the old saying, we're all losers because we're airsofters or whatever. Yeah. I don't really like that. I think that's a negative, poopy attitude, and I don't really like that, because that just, now you got stinking thinking, and then whatever. Anywho,
we deserve to eat this Wendy's. We don't deserve good food. We're just losers.
Yeah. So like, you're thinking like, all right, well, obviously the tan is getting their shit pushed in, so let's move this fob somewhere else, and these checkpoints, like you were saying, these capture points, and make it like fun, because otherwise it's just a curb stomp. And then those guys are just like, yo, why am I paying $250 to get curb stomp? I'll just go home. I'll just go back to the Airbnb. I'll just go do something else. I'll
Yeah.
go whack off or whatever.
It
I don't
ma-
know, like whatever whatever entertainment, you know what I mean? And that's the problem. Whereas when you're a game organizer, I think you have to like see that and adjust. Cause like when I've gone to games, and now obviously, is this rule breaking? Technically, it is, but I've gone to games like historically and brought 2 sets of camo. And if I see one team getting dominated, I'll switch sides because then like there's more people to shoot. I've done it before. You know what I mean? Like, cause you know, it's no fun. Airsoft is no fun if you're just walking around. There's all green or all tan and you're just the only guy.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, it's not fun when your team is super winning.
Yeah.
It's also not fun if your team is super losing.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't think it was that it became unbalanced. I just think that the sheer size of the AO, while you
Yeah.
always found some firefight on Saturday, you just
Yeah.
stopped finding it.
That was the
Now, when you found it on Sunday, I think Sunday was actually pretty fun.
yeah.
Like Saturday, there was a lot of like that long range stuff, but like Sunday was good, man. And
Oh, we
like
did the flying V in the middle of nowhere by the laundry.
we did our own thing. We flanked around the whole field to try to get around their fob because they did the same thing. They got really close. They were like in the woods by Embassy, which is really close to our fob.
Oh, that's pretty close.
and,
yeah.
and they were like stopping us from moving forward, you know?
Yeah.
So I wanted to do the same thing and like we take the scenic route. So that was really fun to sneak around in the woods knowing that there's this big war happening and we're just silent, right? We're in the
Yeah.
woods. Navy SEALs.
I think like most of your cons, right? And most of all of our cons. And I've said this before. I think it all kind of revolves around the fact that the AO in which it was laid out, it was not conducive to a positive experience. I mean, you could literally remove shooting BBs
Mhm.
and just imagine the walking and the like and the distances and all that stuff. You know, without tag launchables
Mhm.
to close that gap. And I understand why they did. And there was windows and stuff there. I get
Yeah.
it. I mean, I would say blank fire, but let's be honest, blank fire is just noise making.
Yeah.
It's not conducive to airsoft. And if everything was condensed, maybe not with 1,100 players, but if everything was condensed to that eastern crescent where all the buildings were within BB gun range, you can still go over the other side.
Yeah.
But maybe most of the capture points are here. There's maybe 1 or 2 over here, maybe at the hospital and at the school, right? Like, so if you wanted to, you could be like, let's go, guys. And you're going to already know, like, we're going to have to traverse some terrain, some wide open spaces or whatever. But the majority of the fighting was in the Fertile Crescent.
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
Eastern
yeah.
Crescent. I think we'd be having a much different conversation. I think that honestly, if everything was in that little crescent or whatever, I honestly
Because you
think
would have fought in the woods too on that side where we originally fought, and
There-
just switching up some game, like as staff going, we're seeing some problems here, and let's shorten up Sunday, switch gears,
Yeah.
change it up, rotate everything, and tell people, hey man, this is where we're gonna go, and then people would be like, oh wow, and then like that Sunday would have been crazy
Yeah.
in that area with the amount that was left. There was at least, I would assume there was at least 600 players left for Sunday. Maybe not.
maybe, I
Maybe
don't know.
not. Maybe there was that many that dropped. I mean, that's
I
a
don't
good
know.
question.
I was,
But yeah, exactly.
But I think 90% of the problems was because of the AO.
Yeah, I like they do events at Zulu. Zulu is not as big as that AO. Zulu is a really nice size for airsoft, but like I'm sure that those rules applied very well to Zulu.
Well, you're not walking a mile back.
Yeah,
Like-
you know, like I mean, how many?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I don't know about what other events they play or the other AOs. This is my first time playing at like a real
Yeah.
training site, but they use the U-Haul just to get people back to FOB. Like that would never be necessary at Zulu
No.
to have to go back to your
No.
FOB, but like with the U-Haul.
But Zulu also doesn't have.
I'm sure they added some new logistic. I'm sure they had new logistic concerns based on
Sure.
previous AOs that they've done.
Sure.
That, it's the first draft of maybe more games that they're going to have there.
I don't think it faults.
Yeah.
I think AMS did the best job that they could.
They did great,
Yeah.
honestly.
I don't think there was anything too egregious. Like they obviously did their homework, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think M.U.T.C. played as a whole AO is not conducive for airsoft.
Yeah.
I think there are parts of it that are cool and neat and can be used far better, but because of the open ground, it's not fun basically like at Zulu in the wintertime when there's no foliage on the trees and you're like 3 Flag Mosque and you're like, go. There's the bad guys. They went this way. You know what I mean? And you can't engage them, right?
Yeah.
That's not really fun for me. And then for me, it's not fun for me. And then just knowing that basically all you can do is get online, walk forward, and hope that our BBs hit theirs before they hit
and
us.
like do a major push. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think that Eastern Crescent where I think they had Irene or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it was intentionally chosen
Yeah.
to do that. So I don't know. I'm a little hesitant about other producers going there to include Milsim West because I think they're going to run into the same problems. Maybe not so much with Milsim West because of how controlled the movements are.
That's what I'm thinking is that there'd be some interesting factors. One, it's darker earlier. It's in November, the game. So it'll be like only a week or two out from like the darkest night of the year.
Yeah.
It's very controlled. I think there's only, maybe 600 players.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. And then depending on where they're deployed, and look, there's other parts of M.U.T.C. that outside woods that they may use up on that north end before going into the city. But then look, if you see some of the buildings and if that was the true case, that there's a price difference, or like, hey, look, I'll get this building and it's cost XYZ and whatever insurance would. And if it's worth it, I think they'll do it for their customer base but yeah, that I would say because it's so structured and so like you're on a leash, it can work, but most of the fighting will be in that crescent area.
Yeah.
Like that crescent area is perfect. It's like gonna be bonkers. Like it's awesome. That includes that basically the hospital, the embassy, the hospital, the embassy, the whole crescent, the gas station, the junkyard, the water tower, and then the shanty town, and then like kind of the that church. And but then there's like that giant farm or whatever with the llamas or whatever.
Yeah. But like, so I think so I'm still hesitant. I don't know if I would go back to another game, regardless of producer, at M.U.T.C. simply because I think that I don't have faith in producers to be like, hey, let's shrink this up. Because they know that they're going to be able to sell 800, 900 tickets. Like they just know that. And so I don't have faith in producers to be like, hey, we'll take a little bit of a cut to make a better product, right? And in my opinion, the better product is utilizing half
the space and being like, this is why we do this. This is why X, Y, Z. And
because our guns don't shoot 300 yards.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think AMS did a great job with the whole AO. I think it never felt like there were too many players. During the daytime, it never felt like there was no players. The only other thing that I would suggest, right, is, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, so this is kind of a shot in the dark. I think that the tan commander and the green commander and all the tan staff and all the green staff should be talking to each other. They shouldn't be out there trying to win the game.
Yes.
And I think that when one team gets pushed into its spawn, it tends to be that that green team commander is not talking to tan team commander directly, and he's trying to win the game.
Yeah.
And you're really just trying to create an experience for all the people who paid to be there.
Yeah.
And again, full disclosure, I did not pay.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's happening, but I think if it's not happening and they started doing that, I think that it would improve the flow of the game. And I'm not talking about being like, yo, first squad, you have to stay here. Yeah. You got to have big picture. Okay, my mob of people is doing this. So tell Tan, hey, I don't have any guys over here. Kick your guys around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
MSW does that a little bit. And then there's other game staff that I'm sure do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, because I think you have to do that, because nobody, I don't think in this like era of airsoft thinks like, I'm winning. It's usually like they want the little experience, like, dude, I had this battle and like it was us in the school and like it didn't matter if we lost or won or whatever as far as anything. It was like, yo, that was wild, man. That was crazy. It was like 6 grenades went off my ear and I almost like went deaf or something like that. It's always something like to that degree. So it's like, but having that, especially if you are producing a product, I think you have a duty to the players to do that and realize, yo, man, green guy, we're like on game staff as well, like, hey man, we should switch this spawn because maybe they thought it was going to be an easy win for tan or a good position for, and meanwhile they find out this is a fucking terrible position. This is actually very bad. We need to like readjust this on the fly, and it's totally fine with doing that. And I don't think anyone would give 2 shits about it. They just care about having that micro battle like with other players and have a good time. Otherwise, like I just said, maybe Sunday there was not enough people. Like it sucks because like when we did line up on Saturday at the soccer field, there was 1,100 people.
Yeah,
that was a huge amount of dudes. But then on Saturday when everybody's battling, it didn't feel like that because the place is massive. It's huge.
It's good. I mean, they sold an appropriate amount of tickets. I can't fault them on that. I've been to like Guardian Center and shit where, MSW sold 800 tickets, and I was like, this is piss poor.
Yeah.
But that AO supported that. M.U.T.C. supported the 1,100 people that AMS brought, and it was fine. Like there was never a period where I was like, oh, this sucks. But I mean, like for Crossroads, right? Like Max and Ian, the guys from Grimnir, are the commanders for both teams, and myself and those two are going to be on the same net. Like kind of choreographing the whole thing. It doesn't mean that players aren't trying to win. That's fine. I'm just saying that like we want to make sure that one team doesn't get curb stomped for fucking 6 hours.
Yeah, or you want the action. Hey man, these guys are about to go in this woods. Hey, if you go this way, you might get some dudes.
Yeah, right.
And it would just be fun. It just may otherwise you could have literally a situation where let's say that you got 2 sides and they're literally doing this the entire game.
Yep.
They're like outflanking each other the entire time. You're like, where are these people? You know what I mean?
They're always
maybe not so much at Zulu because it is a little smaller, but at a field like M.U.T.C., if you were trying to outflank each other, you literally could do that. And
you wouldn't even see each other.
Yeah, at that distance, But my cons are really just like their medic, like for AMS in general, just like their medic rule. I just don't think it's not good. I think that like some kind of buddy aid solve all the issues. I don't think it wouldn't even have mattered the size of the field. It wouldn't have mattered because we just keep running. And I think the tan team would have actually been able to push up. They wouldn't have to go to their fob every time or to some aid station. Because literally when we pushed enough, there were no more aid stations. There was no more anything. And like we had all the aid stations. So it worked out. Jordan, what about you? Any positives, negatives?
I mean, we kind of already went over. I had fun.
I did have fun. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the game. I had a good weekend. I really wanted to go to M.U.T.C. because my first MSW game a long time ago was supposed to be at M.U.T.C. So I really wanted to go to that AO. Fuck. The aid station problems, the medic system, and stop using corpsmen for real world. Yeah. It's like those 3 things. If you can just fix that, maybe you could have moved the flags and had a more streamlined game on the eastern side.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you just fix those 3 things, people probably would have been bitching a lot less.
Yeah, I think, and nobody would care because it would be like, oh man, that same guy that's like, killed Anthony with a knife would be the guy that'd be like running out to go save a few dudes. Yeah, and he'd be like, this is the best thing ever. And even like, a lot of times, like people will tell you that, like they'll be like, oh man, what's fun at this game? I just like healed a bunch of guys and like, like my gun broke or whatever. They're still useful. They're not like, oh, my gun broke. So
I had a lot of fun medicing, and I actually really like that the medic system is a bit longer with the ace bandage.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I'm gonna get you back alive. Like you're there for a while. You're like, I'm gonna get shot, dude. This is crazy.
Well, that's great that you were a medic and you're not with us.
Yeah,
so there you go. There's the problem right there.
Good job.
Good job.
Somebody had a card, and I was like, look, just please let me take it off your hands.
Let me take it off your hands.
It just happened. It worked out.
And you know what? I don't even know if the rules you're even allowed to do that. I thought it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
are you not? Well, The thing is, the medic is going to step off at some point.
Oh, okay. So you just
I-
have that like patch or whatever.
I think you just had to have a medic card.
the patch.
I think they did.
okay.
I think they did the medic card specifically to not have buddy aid because they thought that would be the better approach.
Yeah.
If it's not,
Yeah. Well, you know, the main pro I would say is that I know that like I know Bo and Cody are going to watch and listen to this, and I know that they're 100% going to hear what we have to say, and they're going to weigh in with what other players are probably saying, and they are going to make changes. I
I would hope.
know Bo
Yeah,
is like
they will.
super interested in hearing what we have to say.
They will.
I even spoke to him on Saturday night, and he was just like he was very interested in in hearing what our thoughts were so far. Like he asked me what you guys were thinking, and it was too soon for me to really like say anything. I think if he listens to this whole thing, he'll kind of get a better idea. But they want to put on a really good game. They want to do that. So if there's a will, there's a way. And if everything happened exactly the way it happened, except they were not open to any criticism or any ideas, then it's only going to go. You can't help that. But the fact that it is the way it is, and they're open to that, that's good. So
they're willing to like make a change or take obviously like
they're willing
criticism.
to take the criticism.
and also every member of their staff that I spoke to, like personally, very friendly. Like I found a radio on the ground and it was still on. So I just radioed like, hey, I found this radio on the floor. Just letting you know, I'm returning it to the FOB to AMS staff. They're like, Roger that, cool. So I was able to bring it back to their staff and let them know I brought it. Said, hey, they know it's here. They're coming for it. I radioed them, and they were appreciative of that. So in order for them to appreciate me getting somebody else's lost shit means that they have to care about these players, not just having a good time at the event because that's the product they're selling, but also like they clearly view the people that are they view their customers as people, like people and not just customers.
Okay.
And they just want to put on a good event. I think overall that's a very good thing. And also the buildings that we could use were extremely cool. And the fact that apparently M.U.T.C was not able to be used and they managed to get it, I'm sure they had to go through a bunch of bureaucratic bullshit that kind of took precedent over certain logistical matters as far as like in-game stuff goes, like the LARPy stuff. I'm sure like if that's the case, yeah. I mean, getting the site was awesome. Bo said it during the safety brief. It's good for the industry that like now we have this site again and other event producers are going to use it. And as the games start to be used there, I doubt the future of that site is going to be that we stop using it because the AO is too big. I think people are going to want to continue to use it, and they're just going to shrink the games in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd
So,
be, it'd be that.
Like, it would be very silly for us to go back to not having access to
Oh
the site.
yeah. I would honestly, if it was really a question of like, man, these buildings, they just cost too much to warrant the $250 game ticket or whatever, and you really were like an honest event producer, let's just say like whoever it is, said, we can have all of it, everything, the buildings, you can go into it. This is why it costs this much for this building, because look, the DOD doesn't want plastic projectiles into the sheetrock or whatever it is. And Lee said, this is what it is. This is how we can get it. I'm telling you right now, and you had a buddy aid system and you had all that field and buildings, you could literally have 200, you could literally have 2,000 people, and it would probably be like a fucking killer game. With a buddy aid thing, it'd be fucking nuts. It'd be crazy. Because I would just run out like a maniac. You'd be able to go from building to building. You wouldn't have such super open ground. You'd be able to go somewhere. You'd have like fucking intense firefights in certain areas, but it's just like what he said. So it's basically.
I think it's kind of the proof in the pudding. Like, how many? Like we pretty much stayed together as a squad, right?
Yeah. How
How many people? Not during OP4. How many people did we kill inside of buildings when we were inside the same building?
Oh, like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,100 players, and we were only in the same building as OP4 like twice.
Yeah.
So that tells you something, right?
Yeah.
I think it's great that M.U.T.C is back open again. I think the games will shrink. I think it would be quite a feat financially to get 2,000 players
if you get
and all those buildings.
Yeah, I'm just saying in a dream scenario of.
And I mean, I just talked to Bo before we started his podcast to give him like a professional courtesy, like, hey, we're going to be talking about it. So I just want, so it's not a surprise to you when this comes out. And I mean, he was telling me how they were there like 2 days after cleaning everything up. Yeah. Now you get all the buildings. There is absolutely going to be damage to sheetrock.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to have to stay there for another week to get contractors in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I understand. I get it.
No, and I get it too.
I think I still think that a lot of the issues were just because of the AO itself. I mean, we just proved it. Yeah, we never went in. We never utilized like their little jewels.
Yeah.
Because we were too busy caught out in the open. I will say this, dude. AMS they brought together 1,100 people.
Yeah.
Logistically, getting on the game was fantastic. I mean, the game happened. It's almost a testing ground, right? They're the first major producer to go in there. I know Centurion went before, but they're the first major producer to go in there in however many years.
Yeah.
So they're the guinea pigs. They're going to catch a lot of heat for this game.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be a lot.
That is true. That is true.
There are going to be a lot of people bitching, but they're not going to be able to sit down and be like, wow, man, they spent a lot of time and effort putting this together. And then even after we all went home and started bitching about the game, they're still there cleaning up. You know what I mean? So they're going to catch a lot of heat. But if you're one of these people that just wants to like fucking bitch and not come up with a solution, you're just bitching and nobody's going to care. And honestly, dude, with the lifespan of the internet, you give us 2 weeks and
yeah. But you're absolutely right with that. Is that like this the griping or the cons or whatever we have? It's really we're offering a solution. I'm not just going, this game fucking sucked or this game was fantastic and like all sunshines and rainbows and whatever. But I think having a little bit of tweaking, it's just like anything. Like they're willing to improve, and
we want AMS to be successful.
Yeah, I want more event organizers. Just like you said, I don't want like, oh, now that this game happened here, I don't want anyone else to ever go to M.U.T.C. That's like silly. That would be. I'm hoping that maybe they, as time goes on, maybe like those gripes that we have about the buildings, maybe the M.U.T.C. It could be that they had such a bad taste in their mouth from Airsoft that all that shit was bullshit. They just didn't want Airsofters in there. Maybe they don't give a shit once they see, oh yeah, they brought a bunch of people in here, and then like another event producer brings a whole bunch of people and they start bringing money to the little base or whatever. And they're like, whatever, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like there's guys doing sim rounds. And I bet you if we walked in there, I wouldn't be surprised there's sim rounds everywhere. And
we found casings.
I'm saying in the buildings themselves that they're like complaining about force on force. So like, I think it's more that they're worried, it's like, cause Airsoft had a bad thing. You have to like realize, maybe people don't know this, like, another event producer who shall not be named, like ruined it for everybody else. Cause I don't even want to give that guy whatever. Cause there was a whole big bullshit with that. And in a really bad way, and screwed everybody over. AMS, at Milsim West, anyone else that was maybe trying to like host something, and screwed it because I was a greedy fuck or whatever that guy's prerogative is. So now that command staff has changed or whatever, and they're willing to do that, it's good. It's good. More places to play is fantastic.
And I think more repetitions of different producers going there, and because everybody's watching everybody, that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's looking at AMS right now because AMS was literally the guinea pig.
Yeah.
And then maybe Milsim West comes in, learns some lessons from AMS and applies that, and now, but there's still shortcomings because there's always going to be, right? Yeah. And then the next producer looks at that. So by the 5th or 6th iteration, we've kind of got the AO figured out. Now it's running good.
Yeah.
Now it's running good.
Yeah. I mean, and MSW ball car, the first one at that site in PA, that map was. Oh, no. Bingo card.
Second bingo.
That AO, that area of operations, not a map. That AO was too big for how many people we had, and we thought after that game that it could have been condensed or rearranged a little bit. Or just more players could have been. To be fair, a lot of half of NATO quit. But
yeah, so I think
it's a new AO. You're right.
I think we should end on a positive note, and my positive is that I think they did they did better than I could have done. AMS, and I think they did their best, man. And I think a lot of the situations that arose were just kind of unknowns.
Yeah.
Maybe the medic system worked for other AOs that they were,
but maybe not that one.
For this one, it did not.
That's possible too. That's
right?
very possible.
And I do think that Bo and Cody are all about improving. Given the phone call that I had before this podcast, I mean, he was very open to it and receptive.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
And also for the airsoft community, because I was kind of shitting on a minority of shitty airsofters. 1,100 people did show up to this new AO. How many of those people traveled the way like we traveled to get there, spent that money for the ticket, and actually paid to participate in this event? I got to see some cool dudes. Like I was able to see the guys at Fatco. Obviously, they work with AMS. I saw the guys at Amped. Obviously, they're pretty much always there. But I also saw some other techs that I've never met in person yet. One of them I couldn't meet because he heat cased out, unfortunately. But like, and he's from Texas too. Russell Customs, man. I wish I could have saw you, but he's in 110 dry heat in Texas. Yeah, right. He comes to this humid area. He wasn't doing too hot,
That's
so
I
hope you had a full recovery.
The humidity always gets you.
Yeah, dude,
gets you.
Like, look, a bunch of airsofters still came together, and most of the players were good. And again, my game was not ruined by the few players that were shitty. It's just, it's so easy to focus on that. But
all right, I say we end on that note. Unless Jordan, you got anything?
No, you guys. I can just beat the dead horse with you guys, but
no, I just say that just listen. I would say just hopefully if they are watching, they get to the end of this. Yeah, everything's just a constructive criticism. That's all.
Yeah. And I think AMS, you did a great job. And I know I sound like I'm sucking dick, but realistically, looking at it from a producer standpoint, like they did a great job. They did the best they could.
Yep.
With an unknown, untested.
Yep.
Thing and yeah, don't poo-poo on them just because you didn't get your cool Navy SEAL moment or whatever,
But do poo-poo in the clean porta potty, not
the full
not the full one.
Yeah.
But do go walk around the AO to find a not filled porta potty before you create shitlantis.
But yeah, I think I speak for everyone when I say we all had a great time.
Yeah.
And
don't forget Benghazi tickets.
Oh, that's right.
They're still on sale.
For baby, Zulu staff is going to have their own squad. So if you want to roll with one of the big boys, you can come to Benghazi, be in our squad. We're going to fuck shit up. Remember, there's going to be faction warfare, so we're not just fucking up dudes and nods. We're going to be fucking up each other. There will be hookahs, there will be grilling, and there will be cool, funny hats and Crocs. It'll be a good time.
No, wow, I thought you. It sounded like you prepared that. You did not. That was all.
That was off the dome. Yeah.
Wow, that's real. Wow, you were just waiting and raring to say that, weren't you?
Just for clarification, though, when you say that there will be a Zulu staff squad, you mean you will have a Zulu staff squad, and everyone else that is Zulu staff on Op4 will have their own squads.
That's what I mean. Yeah, every Zulu staff will have their own. Yeah, each squad will be headed by a member of Zulu's very own beloved staff members.
And Grimnir, correct?
And Grimnir.
All right. Okay. It's been like 5 hours.
Yeah. We filled a 128 gigabyte SD.
This is going to be a 5-part series. With that, good night. God bless.
See you later. Bye.
Jesus.